Captain Poopy Pants. Not quite. It's not quite the same. There's slightly different criteria to earn Captain No Fun and Captain Poopy Pants. Now, it may overlap, depending on the specifics of the scenario. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We're on our regularly scheduled program after having a bonus stream the other night. If you want to check out what happened, hit up the Randoms Thoughts YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this. But check out the other videos. I'm going to have clips and other stuff going up. We'll have some extra stuff. Let's get into it. Yeah, starting the night off. Get a little chomp action to start. On to DT. Welcome. Short stream yesterday, short variety stream. We'll see if we get to play any variety tonight. We might. Get a little farther in Pokemon. Just got to rearrange some stuff on my desk. I was playing some stuff offline, chat. I didn't update the bot. So I've been playing Dead by Daylight off stream. It was on sale. It was like $7, and I keep hearing about this game. And I've watched some streams of it, and I thought it was okay. But yeah, I've been playing Dead by Daylight a little bit off stream. Not a lot, because I only picked it up like yesterday. And it's fine. I think I like it better than Ghostbusters. I'm not sure. Like, I like Ghostbusters, but the bugginess and how difficult it feels to be the ghost a lot of the time. Now, that may change as I play Dead by Daylight more, because I was on a win streak when I first started. Now, I guess it bounced my MMR up, so I'm playing against people who seem to know what they're doing. Because there are gameplay patterns that, I mean, granted, I played like 5 games, so there are gameplay patterns I haven't seen, and people are just kind of crapping on me. And the community, like, you can tell when someone's taunting you in basically any game. Like, you know what's happening. And that's happening a lot, which is fine. Like, I don't care because I'm new, but it's... I don't know. There's not a whole lot to the gameplay loop. I gotta try some of the other monsters and see. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot there. I think Evil Dead is more fun. Predator's probably more fun. I don't think it's a great streaming game, though. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot there. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future, so look forward to more Phobies content coming from Randoms Thoughts. So now, on with the show. I'm glad that I turned Lippy off, just because otherwise he'd be yakking at me the whole time down here. I'm tired of hearing about him. Just got your Gravedigger to 13. I don't even know what level my Gravedigger's at. 11. We do have a bit of XP banked up. A little bit. I will upgrade at some point. I just haven't bothered yet. I honestly haven't used Yeti yet, which I'm a little disappointed about. But, I mean, for 8 keys, this guy, numbers-wise, is not enough right now. Like, it's just... He's super fragile. I mean, obviously Heartbreaker's more fragile, but, like, super fragile. The ability's strong, but I don't know that it's not like, oh, well, Heartbreaker just guarantees something dead. I don't know. My Klepto just needs one more upgrade card to reach level 12. It's been like a week. I mean, I could see Yeti at level 1, but I'm not excited about it. I don't know. I haven't had a Yeti situation. Well, I take that back. There was one game where I went, what's his name? Rocket Man instead. It was on one of the new maps. One of the new orange maps. I can't think of the name. Not Agora. I mean, Agora is one of them, but that's not the map. This one. Always watching. So they had something big here, and I went Rocket Man and put it here to try and, like, trap them because it was a one-mover. I want to say it was a Blasto or something. And then I could have gone Yeti, but I just... I wanted like 2 bodies, so whatever. This is definitely a Phobies moment. What moment is that exactly, Scrungle? Just in general, or is there something happening? I've been trying to find offline chat another game to supplement things and also help grow the channel and stuff. I still love Phobies. I still plan on doing a ton of Phobies, and Phobies is going to be my main game. But I think that there's value in trying to branch to get crossover and things, like draw people in. Because there have been people who've showed up and followed the stream because I played Hunt. There have been people who showed up and followed the stream because I played Ghostbusters and variety of other games. And I'm hoping that that sort of stuff helps grow the YouTube channel and people go, hey, it's fun watching this. What other stuff does this person produce content-wise? Well, let me watch one of their Phobies streams, and then pulls people into Phobies, you know what I mean? We'll see. There are a couple other things I want to talk about tonight that we'll get to throughout the night that I think it's worth talking about on stream, both to have the conversation, then also have it for posterity on YouTube. I can't wait for the surprise the devs keep for the December update. Do we even know if there's a December update yet? In all seriousness. Like, have they said anything? More sales so a part of the community gets even farther away from another one. I mean, I'm sure there will be more sales. There's nothing you can do about that, though, as far as community separation when there's sales. Like, yeah. But there's, no matter what game that has existed, well, I take that back. There's some, like, Mythgard. Mythgard was really good about it because they literally gave stuff away. Well, guess what? Mythgard's in maintenance mode right now, and the original owners had to sell it. So it's not exactly the greatest thing to point to business-wise. So I like that there are more sales. I hope that they're more frequent than this. I haven't jumped in on any of these. I might. Like Triple Horrific, it's only $5. This one I'm considering. I gotta think about it. I'm not gonna do this one. I don't feel like putting in another $50. The last update post in the forum, the dev said it is the last words of the post. I mean, it would fit the interval that we were talking about. But the thing is that it's still gonna screw up the timing for the 1 year update, I think, which is fine. Well, I get you on it. Like, I'm just saying, for $5, I am in a position where I could throw $5 at the game. And again, content affiliate, you know, but this would come out of my own pocket, so. I mean, they also have the sales here for the Vats and stuff. I'd love to see this all the time. And then they have the sales here. Yeah, they have sales on these. I've never done these. I really should. Vats are bad. Well, are they bad now? Like, with the sale price, are they bad? Or is it, even with the sale, they're still not good? I haven't done the math. I've never gotten them. I've literally never looked at them. Because I save all the coffee for pack opening because I have ulterior motives, right? Like, I want to do the pack opening videos. So I just bank it all for that. That's compared to XP boosters is robbery even with sales. Interesting. Like I said, I haven't looked at the math, so I'll take chat's word on it. I'd be curious. They have to have numbers of how many people do this versus this and other things. So, no matter how you put it, XP boosters greater than VATs. I think that depends. It depends on how much you can play. So if I know, like, I have a bunch of coffee burning a hole in my pocket, I could go for the Vats for the XP boost over the boosters just because I'm not going to be able to play, sort of thing. Predatory game design, pay money for RNG to give you an advantage, or 500 sheep cards with the added bonus of depression, but I'm proud of. So, I mean, this has been around for a long time. If you can get max cap XP boosters as a gift. Yeah, if you can max out mathematically, as I understand, and again, I haven't done the numbers, so I'm trusting chat, but I've seen it in other places that the boosters are better, but you got to be maxing out. Which I think even I am. You know, I play my it's like 50 async turns a day, and I try to do it twice a day. and then try and start up 6 new games each day if I have available slots, so that way I can try and push for the seasonal stuff, although right now I'm still behind. I don't think I'm going to get it here. If you cap XP, the XP for coffee ratio is astronomical. It's like 7 times better? Wow, that I didn't realize it was that good. I know people have said it before, and I think DT has provided the numbers, but like I said, I've never looked at it. I keep thinking about doing the subscription, but I don't pull the trigger. Because I just don't have like, honestly, chat, I'm not burnt out on Phobies. I am just... Until the new year, I might do it in the new year, because then my editing schedule is gonna likely change, and I can change things up how I want to do stuff. So I'll have a little bit more time to play Phobies offline. Right now, I am usually so mentally drained that I don't want to queue up and then hemorrhage a bunch of games because I'm not all there, kind of thing. There's one dude who keeps pinging me the poke async game. This player wants you to respond to their turn. I thought that happened when... I don't even know how you poke somebody, truthfully. I thought that happened when... Oh, I guess it's this button. I thought that auto happened when they took a turn. Because I get those pokes and, like, I'm doing my turns when I want to. You should... I don't even understand why people do that. Because wouldn't you want the free wins because your opponent doesn't do anything? I don't get it. If you only get, like, half your cap or so on average, the boost is still better than anything else? Really? Even better than the Vats? That is so weird. I mean, well, I take that back. If you take a step back and look at it, it makes sense that they would want to incentivize playing the game. As opposed to just a VAT where it's like, I get my stuff, I'll upgrade my stuff, alright, I'll check in tomorrow. And then there's less people on ladder, there's less people interacting with the game. Now, if you have the boosts, in order to get the value out of the boost, you have to play the game, which I think is good. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, Onda. It sounds like, based on what DT's saying, that even if you only get half of it, you're still better off than the Vats. Vats are the worst offer the game has. Well, something's got to be worst, I guess. Alright, chat, we'll jump in. We'll come back to the other topics. Namely, I want to talk about Fright Night and different options, because I mentioned it in Discord, how I want to... I have to send something over to the devs to get the next Fright Night off the ground. I'll do the math again. I could do it. I'm just being lazy about it. Honestly, like, that's a really good video to do. By the $5 offer now. I might... Here's the thing that bothers me. If I buy it, I have to open the packs right then. I can't buy it and then sit on the packs to open for the end of the season. Because I'd love to do that when these sales come around, is just buy a bunch of the packs and then not open them. And then just have an even bigger pack opening video. Hey, Rockswan, what's good? You're about to evolve, I think, Rockswan, in... Ooh, we got one of the new maps. You're about to evolve in Pokemon, I think. Nerd Mouse no longer. Well, I mean, you might still be Nerd Mouse. I don't know what the next evolution looks like. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like Agora yet. I've only played it a few times. I have one async game that is absolutely stalemated because my opponent has a Heartbreaker up here and I can't, like, completely swing to the bottom, but they can't advance because if they advance too close to my heart, like, I have some poles and I'm too close to them, and, like, it's just kind of dumb. So they can't kill the Contortio unless they put something out here to threaten it right now. Like, they have to threaten it on turn 1. They could send, like, Snowball here, which would be interesting. Okay, so there's a jar. So if I take this, they can kill this right away. One thing that somebody did offline was they went Snowball, to one side. Like, I opened with this snowball one drop. So then they went snowball murder wing to make it real awkward for me to take the center. Like, they were going second. And I think that's reasonable. Why did I just get like 80 pings in Discord? What the hell is happening? My wife was sending me something. That's a level, that's a 571 jar. That is a 571 jar. They could put a big hurt on us, but they can't... Like, if they stay to kill... Well, they could kill this, which would be annoying. I want something to threaten this. I'm just not sure what. That. No, that wouldn't work. Alright, we're gonna go with the original plan. I don't really like this. I was open Murder Wing on this map. I could see it. I was actually going to go Murder Wing here, and I was considering, okay, we walk the snowball to here instead, send Murder Wing to cap this, but I think they can, they hit the snowball with the knight, and then they send in their snowball, get our snowball basically for free. That's a gonzo. I've been encountering a lot of jars that are very large now. Large enough that my snowball can't take care of them, and I'm back in that weird position where games are just made supremely awkward because it's directly because of the levels, but it's not specifically because of the levels, it's because of the break points. Like, my opponent could be higher stress level than me or have higher level phobies, but it's specifically the interaction between snowball and jar where I can't one-shot it, so now I have to commit even more stuff, which is super annoying. You think Numbskull is good in detention? I haven't seen anybody try it yet, but I think that makes sense. Seems reasonable. Got a little sucky gaming, yep. It's going to be super annoying to deal with, I can tell you that much. I'm not entirely sure what I want here. So this will actually one-shot the jar, assuming that happens, which it never will, but, you know, it's something to think about. Hey, Taco, what's good? You saw Claws use Numbskull there, but I'm not really paying attention. Claws is pretty good about experimenting with different stuff. Are you really going to go for the... I guess you're going to go for the snowball? I guess I can't kill it with the, I can't kill it with bees. Oh, that's so bad. That's actually really bad that I can't kill it with bees. Balls. Yeah, I was looking at it, I'm like, wait, can't I just bees it to death? But I can't. I can't. Be short. That really sucks. We gotta make them think about it, chat. I don't know if this is good. I've been trying to force it when I can. This map seems like it could be a map for it. We'll see. We'll see. So comparing the lowest VAT offer without the sale. 152 XP for one coffee. For me, 1 XP booster for 7 days gives 418 XP for one coffee. Wow. Firkin Gaming? We'll see. They're going to slide this up to the top. They can't get it. Wait, can they? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can go up here next turn. With the Quagmire, that is. And they're rotating up here to defend. So, like, this is going to come up north. We'll send something else up there. So even if you do half of it, 209 coffee, it's still better than the VAT. Interesting, okay. Yeah, this is actually the second Charon I've seen on this map. Hey, Kraos, what's good? Yeah, this is the second Charon I've seen on this map. You haven't played Phobies in what feels like a month? You're living vicariously through the stream? I didn't know there was a rowboat emoji on Twitch. Is this guy drunk? I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Gravedigger, apparently. Why? To break these? Do you get 1, 2, 3? Yeah, you can send 1 keys here now. That's something, I guess. Yeah, we're trying out Heartbreaker. I've forced it in a few games offline and async, and it's just kind of been, like, I just happen to have 8 keys. I'm like, oh, I have 8 keys. Slam Heartbreaker. Didn't matter if it was good or not. Is there variety today? Maybe. We'll see. My wife actually was messaging me in Discord. She's like, are you using the Switch tonight? And I said, maybe. And she's like, all right, I'll play tomorrow morning. You have the Scarecrow and Escape the Darkness? Nice. Wait, I thought you had that. Wife sad noises, yep. She wants to play that Pokemon. She hasn't actually started her run yet, or at least I don't think she has. She might have, and I didn't realize. So I can dump the Quagmire in the pit and then immediately lose my Heartbreaker, which is not good. I could fling the Gonzo in the pit and then probably lose my Heartbreaker too. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can't reach us. So it would be 1, 2, 3. It would be this and this hitting it. So if I can kill this, we'd live. You only had the Butcher? Okay. Alright, Gargles. Sure. Whatever. A-wall that Gonzo. I wanted something a little bigger, but A-wall could have worked too. I wanted that, like, I wanted to get the Daisy on the board, but yeah, like, I could have gone a variety of different things. Electric Hat wouldn't have done it. Like, I know people are exaggerating, but I needed like 800 damage. So in order to do that, I could have gone a few different things. Like, I could have gone Cassowary, probably would have been better. Cassowary would have actually been better. So I was thinking about putting the Eternal Knight here to help threaten this, and then I backed off, and I think in retrospect that was a mistake. But yeah, I had to have a range thing, or like, well, I guess Leap is range technically, but, you know, you get what I'm saying. Our opponent is being, like, super bold here, by the way. Just Finnegan. Honestly, if the vault was one space closer, I could Finnegan this, because I could pop out a Gravedigger and boop it, like, yoink, boop. Maybe. Like, there's something there, but... It is, in fact, a Charon. Chat, I don't know what's happening here. I mean, they're gonna obviously turn this off, but, like, that's super annoying. Yeah, we can definitely do something with Gravedigger here. I just have to figure it out, like, what I want to do. We could also crush more, which I think is better. Because crush more is just better, right? Oh, wait, hold on. There has to be a way to do this. I hope I don't run out of time. I guess that's okay. Tractor, move up once, Gravedigger, pull, break. Yeah, that's what I obviously was trying to do, but I just needed to, like, find the right amount of damage. That was tense. Yeah, we were cutting it close there. If I ever play Phobies again, I'm probably going to get D-ranked, because I had to take a hard guess. I bet that everybody in Doomsday, my rank is probably 5. Well, you're probably auto-D-ranking if you were in Doomsday. You do continue to drop. I think once you hit Sum of All Fears, if you stop playing, you'd sit at Sum of All Fears 1 forever. What level is a Charon? Level 3. Calculate faster. Wait, is Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda? Is that the turtle? That sounds familiar. I don't know if that's actually what it is. It is? Okay. I'm glad I remembered that. I don't know why I remembered that. I haven't seen that movie in, I don't know, when the hell did that come out? It had to have been, like, 2009? It was a long time ago. He's pushing for the panic points? Yeah. I don't know if it's going to work out for him. I have some bad news. I have a life lead, too. Like, I can wait a few turns. I'm not in a rush. I'm gonna wait until these come back online and then blow up his whole team again. Honestly, I think the guy's probably just tilted because I have all this stuff. Um... Heartbreaker's putting in work, chat. Shocker, I know. One, two, three, four, five, six. We could do a 4 and 3-1-1. 3-1-1 doesn't seem terrible. I kind of want mobility. We could just wait. Gargles doesn't affect rounds, so the mud should work. I didn't see the original comment. Let's see. Is Honey Bear Mud still going to affect a panic point under Gargles? Oh, I see, yeah. Opponent's just having fun, you try hard, spitting in his face. Well, I have to wonder, did they... Because their opener wasn't that weird, right? Like, wasn't it, I mean, the Eternal Night was, I guess, a little weird. But yes, I agree. We kind of try-harded them into oblivion here. But I think past a certain point, they looked at it and said, hey, they have Heartbreaker. I'm effed, right? So they just kind of phoned it in. Which I think a lot of people do get demoralized quickly, because I've been in that position. I can't really... No, it's 2 more turns. 2 more turns of the Gargles. I thought it was coming out this turn too. That's why I put this here, honestly. Gravedigger and Crushmore should be able to break Gargles when he goes into stone form. That would make Gargles almost Rusty tier. Like, real talk. That would be so bad for Gargles. His ability would be awful. But yeah, it doesn't behave the same way as an obstacle, which is actually kind of annoying. No, I absolutely did not want to attack that. We're going here so they can't claim that on their turn. I've been going up against Chucks on the one map with a bunch of Abyss. The Miss Cha map, the Once lore. I saw people complaining about that in Discord, which, I mean, I kind of understand them. Maybe you target him, do like 500 damage and using his skill on the stone Gargles? No. Gargles is not good enough to warrant that interaction. I think Gargles needs help. Like, I'd almost say maybe it needs to come out of stone form on your turn, but the problem is then Gargles would be arguably unkillable. I think Gargles is one of those abilities where there's no middle ground. It's either going to be oppressive or it's going to be virtually garbage. And I say virtually because I think Gargles could have potential as a powerful phobie, but stone form lasts 5 turns. That might be a nerf. I'm not even joking, because there have been tons of times where, like, my opponent has run Gargles out, they stone form, but it still counts against your phobie limit, so you're just down a phobie. It's like, what are you supposed to do then? Now, the obvious answer is, well, get good, but that isn't always... It's easier said than done. What are they at? I don't think we can kill them. Like, we'll kill them in a couple turns, whatever. We're just gonna go for it. I just wanted a heartbreak or something. Teleport Venus to the Abyss, yep. All over it. I was debating just going for the heart, but we wouldn't have gotten them. See, Anda's a person after my own heart. No fun allowed. No fun allowed. You just get the win. You move on to the next game. Captain No Fun. I should find a way to make that like an official stream, like chat title. The thing is people get hung up on the teleport with Heartbreaker of, oh, I gotta pick something up and drop it in the Abyss, but yoinking the Gonzo in here, granted the Gonzo never should have been there, but like yoinking the Gonzo is just as good, right? Now, I don't think we got 3 teleports, did we? Can I check the Gargle's level? My bad. I'll be honest with you, chat. I think once Heartbreaker hit the board, our opponent just kind of like... They just said, okay, whatever. They were just kind of putting stuff out there. Captain Poopy Pants. Not quite. It's not quite the same. There's slightly different criteria to earn Captain No Fun and Captain Poopy Pants. Now, it may overlap, depending on the specifics of the scenario, but... The fact Heartbreaker can choose the place the teleport ends up as heartbreaking? Yeah. But if you couldn't, wouldn't it be really bad? It would probably be really bad. Or Heartbreaker would have to be... It would have to get buffed somehow, I think. I want to see Gargle's level just to see if the bug was still there. What am I doing? You can go into the replay. Oh, I swear to God, I looked at the turns as 21, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they were stress level 21? Just make it so it goes to your front? Well, that's what I was thinking, but that means your opponent can position around it, which arguably, you know, oh, well, there's more skill involved, but at the same time, I think it's, I don't know. This is a level 4 Gargles. Want to make sure if the bug he has is still there. What's the bug for Gargles? I wasn't aware there was a bug. It's a bug related to the level? When he died, he dealt 447. Oh, so it's like doing more damage than it's supposed to? Or is it like all of them always deal 447? Is there a known trigger for the bug? Isn't Gargles a 4 cost? Oh, there it is. I was like, I couldn't even see it. Gargle's secretly having Stabby's passive? Yeah, right? Real talk, chat, I had a meme that I posted in Discord and, like, nobody looked at it, but... I still... Nah, just die and the bug triggers? Okay. But, like, is the bug that it always forces a 447 damage, or is it, like, just doing more than it's supposed to, or what's the bug? But I'm still of the opinion that Stabby is... So, Stabby, I think I've come around on Stabby. So I started out saying I'm still of the same opinion, and it's not quite the same. It's morphed a little bit. And I kind of want to try this one on chat, see what you think. It's just dealing more damage than it's supposed to. Okay, but that's what I meant. Like, is it dealing more damage every time, or is it dealt more damage there, but it's locked at 447, so if somebody had a level 15 Gargles, it was still dealing 447, you know what I mean? So, Stabby, I've been thinking a lot about Stabby because of the comments that we had a few weeks ago about people complaining that Phobies is stale, or they're seeing the same things. And the reality is that the stronger early game openers, especially on small maps, are, known. They generally involve turrets, and for good reason. And I think if you were to nerf, or even buff, or whatever, do something to Stabby, you're going to drastically change how the early games interact, and not necessarily in a healthier way. Like, people will be happy for a little while, 'cause it's like, oh, I can try all this stuff now. And then eventually it'll settle into something else, and then they'll be pissed off about that. Because that's kind of the way these sort of games go. But I was thinking about it, if you were to nerf Stabby, we talked in the past, like going back months and months, about nerfing the HP, or maybe the reflection. I'm not sure exactly what you need to do to fix it without causing problems. I'm not really sure. Stabby is a pillar of the game at this stage, as is Bow Mangles, as is Jar, and things revolve around these specific interactions. And I don't know that there's really a good way around it without really, like, if you were to nerf Stabby, the entire early game gets modified, and as a result, you might have to then modify tons and tons of Phobies, realistically. And that's the thing. I think it's probably better to leave it alone and kind of go from there. But I know the complaint of Phobies is stale, quote-unquote, is very... It's very common. Very common. One time I was using my Stairmaster, I killed a Quagmire with slightly more HP than Stairmaster's attack. Stairmaster still killed it, even showing the exact damage needed Stairmaster didn't have. I used another Phobia to soften the Quag in the end. This is an async, soften the Quag so I didn't get a free action left over. That's weird. I've never heard of that, Scrungle. Well, how long ago was that? Stabby's a living cancer. I don't see Stabby that oppressive. Bow is usually a bigger problem to me. I think Stabby's way bigger of a problem. I don't think Bow Mangles is nearly as much of an issue. Now, Bow Mangles is in the same months now. They probably fixed that bug then. I think Bow Mangles and Stabby obviously are very strong, and I would assume that if Stabby fell off in some way, say they kneecap Stabby, Bow Mangles clearly becomes the de facto 3-drop, right? It already is pretty close, so why not just go all in on Bow? But the thing is, I think there are reasonable answers to Bow. More reasonable answers, as Onda's pointing out. Electrical is there, although arguably rare. You can also soften it up with a Jar without hating yourself. So, for example, as silly as this sounds, like we saw in the last game, because the Jar that I was going up against was beating me on levels, I couldn't kill it with bees. But if I had to hit Stabby a couple times before that, alright, bees is now potentially lethal. So, it's voodoo as well as the dimensional fact. It's less about the pull, although clearly that matters. But Stabby can pour out, like, something is going to get tagged for 500 damage. Murder Wing has legs? Yeah, I point it out almost every time we see it do a funny flip in game. The damage output, just, like, the actual damage is what I think matters. If the map has a healing spot, I usually keep attacking Stabby with Jar and can heal later. I mean, yeah, that's viable, of course. I usually open with Bow because a lot of times people do answer my Stabby with Henrietta, Creep, Noxious. And I still play in Some of All Fears without Muffin Top. If I get Muffin, Stabby is OP. Without Muffin Top, my Stabby is weak like butter. Well, that, I mean, yes, yeah, so I'm speaking from the perspective of, I have Muffin. Like, Henrietta is not an answer to Stabby. I guess if there's no healing spot and you have no, and your healing phobia is going to have to be like Clinico, then yeah, I guess, because the damage will add up. Creep, it basically, all three of those come back to the same thing. If you have Muffin, you don't care about those. If you don't have Muffin, you're hosed. And I think that is probably more common in general in Phobies than people are willing to admit. And that's why I don't like when people complain about the game being stale. Because realistically, Muffin passively makes Stabby very tough to deal. Exactly, I'm 100% with you, Hakunay. The real problem is Muffin Top, not Stabby itself. I think it's arguable that Muffin is problematic. I almost feel like it should only heal, but not remove poison. The problem is they would have to change how healing works, because this symbol right here means you get health, and because let's say they nerf the amount, like they can nerf the HP, and then I don't know if that's intrinsically tied to goodness me. But assuming it is, I almost don't give a damn at all about the amount it heals. It matters, but does it really matter? The big thing is removing the poison. Is the Muffin the problem? Nerf Muffin? Well, we've talked about that before. They've yet to ever nerf anything except for HP or damage. I don't know if they can't. Well, I mean, I'm sure they can, but they won't? Or what? Talking about Magnificent, I didn't forget that map. That one, I like that map. I like that map. Or liked that map. Wait, is this a quest game? Is that what's been happening? Big house and penny drop. The thing is, we have a big enough map pool now that it's possible, even with normal rotation, that we won't see a map for some time. Which is fine, but that's why I keep pushing the devs to have, in frenemies at least, let me choose the maps. Out of any of them. I don't understand why it has to be tied to the ladder rotation. Like, it makes no sense to me. There has to be a reason for it, but I don't know what it is. This is a quest game, that's fine. We might as well drop out. I didn't even realize it was up against Hakunay. Like, legitimately, when I went to the BRB screen, I looked at, oh, there's an MVP with Russell. Let me see what that is. And then I got up. I didn't even look who it is. So, just to... Puff is the only flying stress level phobia that we know of. I imagine the other disease one, or poison one, whatever this is. I was saying disease because in my head I was remembering the green. This feels like it could be a Gesundheit microscopic palette swap, and it might be flying. We'll see. The Keymaster... Oh, Jammy Fish is a flyer? This flies? It's another one. The same way that I was looking at Akira months ago is the way I'm looking at Jammy Fish and those sort of things. I'm not going to get them for so long, and most people are not going to get them for so long that I just don't care. It floats, fair. I'm sure this one is flying mech. For flying mech, we only have the drone squad. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's got to be disease-related, right? Or I mean, it's going to be disease or poison-related based on the art. It feels so obvious, but maybe it's so obvious that that's not the answer. So, chat, to circle back to the Stabby thing, I don't know. I kind of agree with what everybody was saying, that maybe Muffin is the problem, because Muffin just immediately cures the answer, or what presumably is supposed to be the answers, like creep, on those maps. Small maps, specifically. Granted, there could be healing spas, you know, you play on Penny Drop, you walk it up, they creep, you run back, but that takes the Stabby out of commission for a couple turns, unless they want to eat the damage. With Muffin, it's like, shoot, back up, walk Muffin up, remove poison, and heal. And then probably kill your creep that went in. Not that you're necessarily going to kill the Stabby with the creep poison anyway, but, you know, you completely miss out on any value of getting it with creep or other poisonous stuff when Muffin exists. Now, granted, you could, like, you know, you get them to expend the Muffin and then you get the Stabby the next time around, but the whole point is that it locks down the early game and lets you leverage that into later game advantages. Point is I wonder if... I'm always a big proponent of changing the maps up. And I wonder if maybe one of the answers is make the vault to where you need to position Stabby a longer run, even on a small map, so that way, once Stabby's out there, it's vulnerable air quotes, it's vulnerable and can't necessarily retreat to a muffin and then get right back in the action. You basically have almost no downtime right now with muffin Stabby. I don't know. You simply need 1 key muffin to kill 2 key creep. Yes, and that goes double for, well, maybe not double, but it goes for a bunch of other things too. I don't have a problem necessarily with Stabby or Bone Mangles being the meta, but a lot of people seem to. I don't think on big maps it's nearly as concrete, but that's because a lot of the bigger things, you know, not necessarily Heartbreaker, but say the Heartbreaker level, the Attractor level, those sort of things are higher rarities. People might just straight up not have them or not have them at a level they're comfortable playing with. And because of the additional keys infused, you know, you're going to see a lot of things like pterodactyls because of the mobility, high damage output, and some of the other big keys. But I would venture to guess most people don't feel that the big maps are as stale as small maps. I don't know if everybody actually feels that way or if anybody feels that way. I'm just kind of assuming. I don't have any data to back that up. Now, chess has the advantage of history behind it. I think if Phobies were to release starting tomorrow, they started releasing stats either on an interval or they're on the website and they update automatically based on games played, you know, whatever. They release numbers. I think people will shit a brick because they don't understand how win rates work. And on top of it, so there's multiple facets, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but this is for the sake of YouTube. You have to consider, what are the win rates being looked at? Is it the whole game? Is it Sum of All Fears? Is it heebie-jeebies? Is it strangers? Like, where is it? What level are the Phobies? What situations were the Phobies in? Because if my Heartbreaker, because I just got Heartbreaker, I want to use Heartbreaker, I put it out at level 1 and keep getting my dick knocked in the dirt because I'm, you know, between Doomsday and Sum of All Fears and everything I'm running up against is out-leveling it by 15 levels. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know, like, there's a lot of factors that go in. So I'd love if there was an API to be able to crunch numbers and I could say, all right, yeah, I know, that wasn't what I clicked on, game. I would love to see stats for the top 5 people, top 10 people, top 20 people, and then show me what they have, or give me filters so I could say, I want to see everybody that's under stress level 100, so up to 99, and above level 70. Give me their numbers. Of course, you look at Sum of All Fears statistics, you study the tryhards. I would, but that doesn't mean everybody else would, nor does it mean that that's the numbers necessarily that the devs would provide. And even then, to bring it back to the Stabby piece, so let's say Stabby is it like exactly 50% win rate. Is that still healthy? Let's say Attractor's exactly 50% win rate. Pick arbitrary phobie. Like, what is your personal phobie that you hate, chat? That you think is overpowered and needs to be nerfed? Like, what if Beauty is still at 60% win rate? Is that okay? Because there's a lot of factors that mean, like, is it okay, is it not? And like I said, these are all hypotheticals. Like, what if these things are true? But how do we interpret? Because I played card games that it's verging on impossible to get it exactly 50-50 win rates in card games. And a lot of devs will just accept that that can't happen. So like a 60-40 matchup, a 70-30 matchup, those are okay. I don't have any idea what the devs feel about this. Even if Stabby is a good win rate, you must know how to play it. You literally just stand it in next to something. I don't know that there's a whole lot to it. I don't think there's a lot of nuance to Stabby, truthfully. But that is a good point in general, if I abstract what you're saying, Hakunay. If something has a high win rate, but has a high skill floor, like, it is difficult to use, but then the payout is you're winning a lot. Is that okay? Or should it get nerfed to bring it in line, and then you just have to outskill your opponent in other ways? Because the argument could be made, no, have the high skill floor phobies so that way the good players can differentiate themselves. And the other argument is, well, if it's going to take me forever to even get it and then level it up, and then I have to lose a bunch of games, like, people are going to fall off before they even learn the phobies. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's interesting. The whole point is, we obviously haven't gotten win rates. We haven't gotten other stats. I doubt we're going to. I would love to see them, because I think they would be interesting to talk about. I think it would help inform stuff like Fright Night, which is the next thing I want to talk about. But the devs don't seem to be interested in doing that for whatever reason, which is fine. It's their game. But I think that there's value in assessing those things. The problem is, or one of the problems is, while we can look at replays, it's difficult to find, like, okay, did Alien Engineer play a Stabby this game? Did they lead off with Stabby? Did they win with Stabby? Did they lose with Stabby? You have to go hunt through the games. And that's why I think an API to try and collate this data in another way would be helpful. I can't really picture exactly how that would work, other than having to comb through it anyway, but I had tried to do it by hand. It was verging on impossible. Trying to go through the games, tabulate exactly when everybody played certain phobies and all this stuff, it was just too much. Like, time-consuming wise, just do the data entry. And then I could set up the spreadsheet to calculate everything pretty quickly, but sitting there and calculating it was insane. I think you would need a team of people that were all working under the same pretense. And it would be difficult not to step on each other's toes if you were dumping it into the same database of, like, making sure that you aren't collating the same games and then double counting things to try and find, okay, well, this is how you appropriately answer Stabby even in the presence of Muffin. That sort of thing. I've seen people trying to spam double turrets and failing. Sometimes map control, tempo, pressure do change your priorities and targets. Spamming only because it's meta doesn't make you good by default. I won a lot of matches with even only Bo. Playing Stabby or double turrets is not a rule. It's a strategy and not always throwing stuff at your opponent. While I agree, the vast majority of people, myself included, are not paying attention 9 times out of 10, I think, Hakunay. I agree with you that if both players are paying attention and both players are actually trying to win, yeah, you need to do certain things. But I don't think we really, and this kind of goes back to the win rates discussion, is how do we calculate a meaningful game? Because I put that game on during the BRB screen, and it turns out that was a quest game. But it looked, by all accounts, before I loaded in, as a regular game. So you have to watch all these games and then go through and assess, did this person actually play it properly? And, you know, did they lose due to a mistake and therefore we can learn something? Or was it just levels? Or was it a blind counter because of the strategy? You know, like, they boxed themselves in and I rustled and they just lose because of rustle. Something silly like that. Did they blunder into a trap? And that's why I don't like watching a lot of async games, because people forget about traps. There's a variety of different things that people could be failing with good strategies or winning with weak ones for reasons that are completely unrelated to the strength of the strategy or even necessarily the strength of the player. And I think that's very difficult. That's why I like tournaments, because we can calculate the data with a smaller, like, you don't have to calculate, and again, this is for the purpose of YouTube. I know I'm preaching to the choir. You don't need every single game. You need a statistically relevant sample to then draw conclusions. And that's the advantage for good players, is they can look at stuff and go, okay, I get it, and extrapolate the rest, as opposed to having to go through every single game and count it up, which may not even get you the right answer. There's a lot that goes into assessing this stuff. I've seen people, there's a Phobies glitch where if you press Alt F4, you unlock a secret mode that doesn't always work, so keep trying. That's an old one, Taco. Like, that's been around as long as the internet's been around, basically. As long as there's been communication between people and that shortcut has existed, people have tried that. So, for people that aren't aware, and by the time this goes up on YouTube, maybe I've already gotten Fright Night underway. I doubt it, honestly, because there's still a lot of thinking and debating to go on. But I've been talking about a variety of different challenges from Fright Night, and one of the biggest things was the time requirements involved in Fright Night. So I'm looking at different formats. We may end up going back to the original ones, or the middle ones, or whatever. Point is that we're going to try a variety of different things, see what fits best for as many people as possible so we can have the most enjoyable event possible. I am personally of the opinion that tournaments are absolutely needed for Phobies. I think ladder leads to burnout. I think anybody who's played a game with ladder systems will recognize that ultimately people get sick of grinding the ladder. And similar to previous discussions, whether it's due to specific metas, they're tired of doing the same thing, they don't, whatever. There's a lot of reasons where it's just the mindless grind of ladder game and ladder game and ladder game and ladder game end up being problematic. And trying to hit the top of Mount Ego doesn't actually reward you anything right now. So there's really no point in even climbing the ladder other than to say I have a different number next to my name. So that's why I think tournaments are important. Plus, tournaments can also serve as either a resource sink, which is important for the devs, or it can be another resource avenue for the players. It could be both. We'll have to see. But to that end, I've been talking with the devs trying to figure out with this new format, what is a reasonable prize payout for the events. Because the previous one was a large Swiss event, best 2 of 3, cut to top 8, typical Swiss tournament structure. And it was a lot to ask everybody to play in it, so I wanted to make sure that the payout was commensurate. The next attempted format is going to be a shorter one. And I'm not sure exactly what the payout should be. So YouTube, when you're watching this, let me know what you would want to see. Tournament formats, what would entice you to play in a tournament? Like, is it just coffee? Is it physical Phobies swag? Is it in-game avatars or, skins, different animations, whatever? What would make you want to play? Because I'm trying to figure out what is going to drive people to do it. And in this case, I have some pitched ideas that I threw in Discord, but some of the responses were interesting from people as to what they would want out of it. Because ultimately, right now, both the first-party events, we'll say, all the contests, and my tournaments and other tournaments have been paying out in coffee, which makes sense, because coffee is the universal currency in Phobies for the most part. You can use the coffee to get XP, although we were saying the Vats weren't worth it. You can use coffee to get the boost, which, from what chat is saying, is worth it. You could use the coffee to get avatars. You could use the coffee to get packs. Basically, anything in Phobies that you want to get could be acquired with coffee. So it seems like the easy, malleable thing. But as offered in Fright Night number 3, there is the potential for physical swag. They sent out hoodies. I'm going to ask for stuff like that this time. I don't know if we're going to get it. There were some other suggestions, and I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are. Like, if you wanted physical swag, is it a t-shirt? Is it a mug? Is it a hat? Is it a sweatshirt? Is it whatever? Or you don't care? Because we had people who said that they would rather not, and they'd rather just roll it into more coffee prizes. But there's a variety of different things that could be off. So I'm curious what would push people to do it. And like I said, in my Discord, which you can hit up the link for it, and all the other stuff for the live stream, etc. Let me know down in the comments, blah, blah, blah. Like and subscribe. You know the drill. But you can hit up the Discord and see the discussion that we've had. I don't know. I think most people realistically want either more Phobies or they want to upgrade their Phobies. So coffee kind of solves those issues. I know some people would be interested in playing for avatars. Maybe not necessarily the ones that are in the store, but like say they were custom ones for tournaments, that sort of thing. If we ever got skins for Phobies or hats or whatever, maybe those. That obviously requires different systems in place on the first party side, and I don't know if they can do that or don't want to do that. We'll have to see. Let me know what people think, either in chat or on YouTube. Let me know what you'd be interested in, because I think that it should be there. I would love to see, and I mentioned this in my breakdown after Fright Night number 3. Big write-up, Two of the games that I played that have had tournament systems, there have been others, but the two ones that I typically think of are the Pokemon TCG and Mythgard. Now, Mythgard has far and away the best tournament system I've ever seen out of any digital game. Full stop, bar none. It allowed for first-party events. It allowed the players to organize events. Like, say I wanted to organize Fright Night, whatever. I could put in coffee of my own as prizes. I could set a buy-in where it's, okay, you have to put in 100 coffee, and then the payout is based on how much people put in. They had Swiss, they had double a limb, they had single a limb, they had this, they had that. You had a ton of things that you could set up, which would be fantastic. The Pokemon TCG, on the other hand, has automated tournaments that basically, they're 8-person single limb queues that as soon as they fill up with 8 people, it fires. You play one game, you play a person, you win, you advance, you lose, you're out. And then at the end, you win prizes. There is a buy-in in a ticket system, which would have to be another currency unless they roll it into this. But the point is that I think both of those, I would love to have both, where I just want to play a tournament. I don't want to play ladder. I want to play a few games, and I want to have a chance to win some stuff, whatever that stuff is. And maybe in the tournament system, it forces everything to level 1. Maybe it doesn't. You know, that's up for the devs to decide. But that would allow people another way to play Phobies that isn't just, well, I'm queuing up on the ladder and I'm doing stuff. There's a very different emotional and intellectual attachment and involvement with tournaments compared to ladder systems. And there's a lot of people, I reference the Richard Garfield article all the time. I've talked about it a lot. There's a lot of people that have written and said a lot of words about it. I don't want to repeat it all. But the bottom line is that it is different. It's a different experience. And I think people would enjoy it. And because it lets you look at Phobies in a different light, I think that means that it reinvigorates people to play Phobies, even if they then turn around and go back to ladder. Because it just lets them take a break, but still stay in the Phobies ecosystem. I think there's a lot of advantages. I would love to have a way to run tournaments through the Phobies client instead of having to do it outside and then say, all right, queue up and play frenemies games. But right now that doesn't exist. So until it does, and I imagine that it's going to be an enormous undertaking to try and make that happen. Like an enormous undertaking. So I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but I hope that the team does do it. Is that a major brony play on the Miss Cha map? Let me pull a 3.0 into a pit. Wait, how'd you... That's bonkers. Hilarious, but bonkers. Speaking of highlights, Hakunay sent in a highlight. So we'll do a highlight real quick. Alright, so Hakunay's saying turn 8 and 9, not Zen after the match. That Klepto was weird. Alright, let's see. Stop at turn 8? Well, we're on turn 8, so... Oh, wait. Hold on. Solve the puzzle? I don't know what the end state is, so what am I solving for? Like, I can't solve a puzzle if I don't know what I'm trying to get it to. Hi, baby. Like, what are... you're obviously not... End turn 8? Okay. So let's see what this is. Alright, we got a Klepto. That's already getting shelled by this, this jar. It's a level 11 Klepto. Oh, sorry, end of turn... Wait, what? Okay, so end turn 9. I'm getting confused, Hakunay. Oh, an erratic. Okay. So now we're figuring out what the puzzle is? Are we all on the same page now? So what am I solving for? So, like, you can hit these. These cannot reach anything. These can't reach anything. Oh, yeah? I don't know if you guys could hear the puppy groan. She's laying down. You tired? Here we go, baby. It's a very good baby. Nothing that special, but I left Klepto there on purpose. I assume to pin the jar. That's a great play. I already love this, that you're popping your own boom. Because we were talking about that in one of the games we saw you playing the other night. Oh, this is actually super hype. I was trying to figure out, like, are we killing the jar? This is a really cool... you're saying this is not special. This is actually a really heads-up play. This is a really heads-up play. Like, hold on. I gotta rewind this. This is actually a cool heads-up play submitted by Hakunay that was kind of underplaying their own achievement here, but I think this is something cool that not enough people recognize. You can detonate boom whenever you want. You don't have to do it, and why would you want to do that? Bye-bye, jar. Well played. That's one thing I like about the Boom family. Yeah, and Muffin. Muffin can do it. I like that play a lot. I won't sacrifice my Kaboom to do this kind of play to save my Jin Sting. I think this is a cool play. Like, this is actually really cool. That Klepto was weird and Zen got baited. Yeah, I can see why. Honestly, if I was in Zen's spot, I probably would have shelled this also and not necessarily because I wasn't expecting it, although it's definitely a play you don't expect. Just more like, I guess not expecting is the best way to put it. Yeah, you just wouldn't expect somebody to do that in order to snipe the jar. Granted, I don't think I would have followed up with Erratic into this situation, but maybe it's fine. But regardless, boom for jar is pretty good. How often does that happen? That you can say, I traded boom for a jar. Like, that's pretty cool. The long range. Well played. Well done. I like it. Disconnected Smiley with Beauty because they for some reason hit Smiley with it. Seems easy. It's just that easy. Hey, kaboom! I wonder what this guy's gonna do. I feel real stiff, chat. I don't want to see it at all. Was it that bad, Honda? Was it that bad? So, chat, I was kind of alluding to this earlier. And by earlier, I mean at the beginning of the stream. I'm trying to find another game to... I mean, Pokemon is a thing, and I don't know if Pokemon's going to be my, like, major secondary game. No spoiler, it just makes me upset. Alright. Is Sivadas in chat? Sivadas kind of wants us... I don't know if he wants to, like, be here when it happens. Nice, Dojewall. Are you in Arena right now, or is this an async game you're doing this in? They banked a 4. So they're going to send this here. And then, like, here, I guess. You like the Pokemon? I'm trying to figure out another secondary game, like I said, to help pull people into Phobies, where it's like, oh, I watch Chomp for this content, and then this hypothetical person goes, let me see what else they play, and they play, oh, what is Phobies? And then they get into Phobies, you know what I mean? Boom plays hardly work in top 10 because players there do respect Boom. I just straight up don't see Boom enough to... I mean, I respect the Boom plays, like, Boom connecting and detonating, but it shows up so infrequently that somebody self-detonating Boom to be like, surprise, I'm not maxed out, almost never happens. Gotta do more Pokemon to get Arvin's Big Mac toppings? Yeah, we might play it tonight. I mean, your Boom plays are a little different, Honda, because you're just annihilating things. Like... But yeah, I'm trying to find another game, because I'm just not... I don't know. I enjoy playing Gears. I've been playing For Honor. I've been playing a couple other things, but I don't know that they're necessarily good stream games. I know chat enjoys hanging out with me, but I don't know if they're really games that they really want to watch, you know what I mean? You got Black Cat on Snap, very strong, mostly useless, but... Honestly, I haven't played Snap since I streamed it. And it legitimately has not even crossed my mind. Well, I take that back. It's crossed my mind when I see someone else I know streaming it. Do I like the snowman? What? Talking about, Dozer? You already deleted it, Onda? Really? Did you really? I think Dozer's interesting. I've been working on I talked about it on a stream 1 or 2 back. I don't know if it's up on YouTube yet, but I was trying to brainstorm strategies for Dozer. Honestly, a map like this might not be terrible for Dozer, because it's a big turret, but I just don't know if the scenarios for Dozer happen enough that you feel good about it. It's weird. I'm not a huge fan, but I think there's potential there. There are definitely phobies that I think are significantly worse, and I wouldn't think to use them because they're not good, sort of thing. Namely, like, the Rusties of the world. But Dozer in particular, I've had difficulty because most of the time it's like, but why am I paying 8 keys? They banked to 7. So they detonate on these 2, then follow up. So this is... They hit here, detonate, that's fine. 7. So this is dead. So we trade corn and cat for cassowary, corn, and boom. I guess that's okay. God of War is a good game. I've never played a God of War game. I was thinking about getting Horizon Zero Dawn. Evil West looks fun, but I'm going to wait for it to go on sale. Maybe you could try a story game. Like, so I'm avoiding Blizzard stuff. I can talk about it after the game, but... The Electrocat tech. So they should body block with this so that I can't just kill the cassowary, but... They're apparently not interested in that. Yeah, the boom was going to happen, but we're going to kill the cassowary, so we're coming out ahead trade-wise, I think. This thing's going to deal a bunch of damage here, so I have to respect it. Oculus is in too deep. Is it, though? No, game. I want to see how much health it has. 337. Go here. All right, friend. Come after me. Yeah, the Oculus is strong. It's true. What's the worst super rare? That's a good question. If we ignore stress levels, we ignore stress levels... I'm gonna have to look at the collection screen to think about it, because I kind of have to see them all together. Yeah, Leshy's probably... Leshy's up there. Leshy's up there. Leshy's just so mediocre. Yeah, Leshy leaves much to be desired on a lot of fronts. Oh, Jesus, that's not what I want to click on. Meant to do this. Zamboni is Leshy, but better. I actually really like Zamboni, but yeah, I'm kind of leaning on Leshy. We'll look at the collection screen. Remind me after this game. I'll take a look, because I think Leshy's probably up there. I feel like Leshy, as far as bad ultra rares go, I feel like Leshy should be better, but... Blue Lane is a poison doesn't exist phobia? True. Very true. Zamboni's heal can't be underestimated, though. It is really strong. It is really strong. You can definitely set up some really... Plus, it's also, of the healers, arguably the most threatening. Because it's range, because it has significant damage, as compared to, say, Blue Leon, where you have to risk more, that sort of thing. The Pterodactyl's getting beat, it doesn't matter. It's going to heal up, who cares? Oh, that's awkward. I mean, we can snowball it, but... Definitely want to... Oh, wait. 1100? We actually need to run it away. We have to walk away because otherwise it's dead. So we lose the cassowary here, because they could come in, hit it with Spud and miss. Outside of protecting Oculus's Boomer was kind of useless. That was literally the purpose for it, so it did exactly what I needed. Like, I didn't want it to do anything else. There was no other one key that I could have popped out that would have tanked all of that. So we're under some pressure here, but we're still mostly fine. Like, we're going to pop out Klepto and hopefully clean up all three of these this turn. Actually, we probably won't. Klepto will probably make an appearance, but I don't... is it Klepto? What other AoE do I have? Could just do, like, Quagmire. I'm gonna go Gin Sting. Get a little bees. Oof. I have one key, huh? I'll go with that. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. I see everybody calling out what it could be. You go Smiley to be cute. No, that would have been... No, Smiley would not have worked here. Make predictions? Like, you're talking Twitch chat predictions? We used to do that, and then I kept forgetting. Nobody reminded me. It wasn't... I mean, people enjoyed it, but I don't know how... Like, did people really care? Yeah, I was telling him that earlier, Doge. Oh, and thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Yeah, okay, so is your name Elm Romero? No, it's Romero Mara. Wait. Okay, there are too many letters to get, like, I'm trying to break up where syllables should be, and I can't quite grok it. El Maro. Oh, is that accurate? I didn't look who was saying it, and then I realized it wasn't the person who's who I was trying to check with. $585, so it's 6. Like, this could kill it, hypothetically. How much do I res with? 532. We actually gain a health because of this? Lol. Now people can't say that I never use Boomer. So the key is just eliminating one of these two and then kind of leaning on them. We don't have a ton of breathing room. We're under 2k health, but they're not recapping this point. They could recap this, but whatever's on there immediately dies. And then hopefully they expose something. Alright, we'll see if we can find it then, Doge. We'll see if we can find it around there. I'm not going to spend too much effort hunting it down. I don't remember how many Pokemon games have legendaries that early in the game. What is happening? Did opponent rage quit? We might have induced a little frustration, chat. We might have. But whoever was talking about Spud earlier, I do like Spud. I do like Spud. Interesting. I don't... For the single player, the campaign, the story mode for Pokemon, I'm not going to put a whole lot of effort into, like, building a team. It's basically, do I have type coverage? Yes, no. That's about it. Yeah, we absolutely tilted this person. So with Spud down, that means they just straight up do not have the damage to do anything of value to us. Or against us. Mash you good. I like fried Spud. GG, yeah. I think we tilted our opponent out of the game. I think we tilted him out of the game. So what were we going to look at? Oh yeah, the ultra rares. the ultra rares. Okay, so here's the question. Is Sock Acid worse than Leshy? I would say Leshy is worse because one keys are one keys. Even if this thing had no attack, I think it'd be better than Leshy just because it's a one key. I'm going down the list. That's the only reason I brought it up. Is Bad Omen worse? No, Bad Omen might be the best phobie in the game right now. Like, on paper, until I see something otherwise, Bad Omen might be the best phobie in the game. Sock is one of the best ultra rares because of the key cost. Exactly. Exactly. There are no other 2s, I don't think. Are there 3s? Is Leshy worse than Kaboom? Honestly, I think Kaboom there's more plays that can be made with Kaboom, even if it's simply what we saw Hakunay do a couple right before the game, when we did the highlight. Even if it was just that, I think that play comes up way more often than Leshy. Your replay has Bad Omen in it? Does it really? Nice. Is Leshy worse than Werewolf? Yes, I don't think we really need to explain that one. Worse than Morty? I'll say yes. Worse than Jeeves? Yes. Worse than Rocket Man or Scritch? So, Rocket Man, I'd say no. Oh yeah, Grimes. I forgot about Grimes. Yeah, Grimes is better than Leshy. Scritch, I'd almost say is worse than Leshy for this reason. You pretty much always go Gonzo instead of Scritch. But the thing is that you could Scritch as just a body, and it would probably be better than Leshy. Allosaur is definitely better than Leshy. Brony is 100% better than Leshy. Edgar's probably better than Leshy. Dozer is questionable, but all of these other ultra rares better than Leshy. And definitely these. Yeah, I skipped Grimes. I forgot about him. And I skipped Blasto, but, like, yes, better than Leshy. I think Leshy is the worst ultra rare. That being said, I don't think I'm as down on it as most people. But it probably needs some help. Is Fire Ant an ultra rare? For some reason, I thought it was rare, but yeah, it's an ultra rare. Fire Ant is obviously better. Just assume if I skipped an ultra rare, chat, that it's just clearly better than Leshy, because there was no discussion required. Talking about Steve's reminded me of the Baby Walrus pick. There was somebody on YouTube who really loved the Baby Walrus pick. They thought it was hilarious. Leshy is just bottom of the barrel ultra rare. I mean, I want Leshy just as much as I want every other phobie. Well, I want some phobies more than others, but I want Leshy, and I want to try it. I just don't know. Getting the scenario where Leshy is going to be valuable is going to be super difficult. So mediocre that Bluely and Zomboni do its job better. The thing is that in order to get more value out of Leshy, you just have to have something, multiple somethings, that are very damaged. Whereas Bluelian and Zomboni kind of prevent them from ever getting into that danger state. Because if you have multiple phobies that are in close proximity to your opponent, right? Like they're fighting, and they all live. Most of the time, your opponent just made a colossal error because they committed in and didn't kill your stuff. So they're just dead anyway. So you don't need the Leshy. I'm going to go with Leshy. None of the ultra rares, except for maybe Brony, can top Leshy's fabulous hair. The Glam Rock is strong with Leshy. Well, there's going to be a YouTube short about Leshy's hair flip. Because when it does the ability, it goes like this. And, like, flips its hair. It's hilarious. I love it. There's a YouTube clip that's coming up that'll go up. So we're doing an out-of-band, we'll say, game review. Our hero here is Sivadas in the blue trunks up against another regular, Onda. And Sivadas was very excited about this one. Onda, not so excited about this one. The notes here, I lock my opponent to 7 phobies, GG Onda. We'll see what happens here. 19-turn game on Always Watching, one of the new maps. Get a little oh-no action here. A little oh-no for the Onda game. I'm telling you, Sivadas was super excited about this. Oh, Sivadas is here. Okay, Sivadas is here. So we'll see what happens here. So I will point out, the snowball opener, I know people are going to be shocked about this, but snowball shows up a lot on this map as the start. Stabby does not as much, so I'm very curious, since Onda's here, like, Onda, have you had a lot of success with the Stabby opener? Wow, we get an aggressive fireball here, too. I mean, I guess you might as well, because you have time to recover. And a Gesundheit? Really? Really? Alright, I like the Gravedigger break here. I think Gravedigger and Crushmore have a lot of value. This is probably my first time using Stabby Open here. Alright. Have you used it since? Like, do you like the Stabby Opener here? Alright, we get to follow up Stabby. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Stabby on big maps because you can get those higher end phobies that don't trivialize it, but do allow you to address it more readily. So we have 3-to-1 panic point advantage. Obviously, the cat pays with its life. Seven keys banked on Sivadas' side. Given the amount of damage here, Onda's not going to send in the Stabby to punch the snowball. This A-wall is very interesting, though. And a Klepto, alright. My body is like, don't make me watch this. Well, like, did you make a... Are we talking like you made just a big boneheaded play, or what is happening here? Because right now this seems like a normal game. Alright, we get a little Attractor action. Attractor has played into a lot of my games on this map. Here's that 3D effect we've talked about before. Alright, get a little Gesundheit action. I'm telling you, I don't like Gesundheit that much. Here, it seems a little weird. Obviously, it came out well before the Attractor, but the Attractor's going to make its life more complex because it's a one-mover, so, like, it can't dance outside of range and then maybe threaten something. It's got to be in there. Okay, so this is a weird block, but I imagine this is to try... Well, A, it kind of segments top and bottom, but also opens up the possibility of Attractor pulls. I'm waiting to see, like, is this Attractor vulnerable somewhere? Alright, so we get a Crushmore showing up on Sivadas' side. I like it. So Cowbell can't take the panic point. That's reasonable. Although Cowbell ends up there anyway, but notably with some effort. Alright, so we're getting an aggressive push down in the south here. The snowball positioning is kind of whatever because it's so mobile. The Stabby's interesting, though. Panic points now are even. The old snipage going down on the Cowbell there. Both players are playing with a lot of respect here, which is understandable. Sivadas and Onda, both great players. You always see Onda up towards the top of the ladder as well. So this is more what I try to set up typically on this map, although I go for an earlier Crushmore, try and block this off and lock Crushmore in. Obviously, most people are wise to it, so they end up sending their own lobber here, like a Klepto. Ooh, we got a Chuck. The Sivadas special. Yeah, a little Chuck action. What level is this Chuck? This is a level 11 Chuck. You hate being up on the leaderboard? You can't, that's... Okay, so, new person that was asking, like, have I ever beaten people that are high on the ladder? Yes. But when I'm streaming, and for the sake of entertainment, it's actually better if I am just screwing around and can play against people that aren't as good, so I don't have to try hard, because it's more entertaining, in my opinion, for everybody, because we're just bullshitting around, or trying other phobies, or doing stupid things. Like, let me just do this stupid meme play that will never work against a good player. And it probably won't work against a bad player, but we might have a hilarious moment, you know what I mean? And that's not for me for the purpose of crapping on people that aren't as good at the game or way under-leveled, but it also gives them a chance to, like, if I'm try-harding and I'm playing somebody who's notably worse than me or way under-leveled, yeah, I'm going to crap on them, and that doesn't mean anything for either of us. Should notice something this turn? Or next turn, you mean? Whose turn is it right now? Or you have a turn, so I guess it'll be after the positioning. My main man, Chuck. Alright, let's see what, Oh, wait, no, it's Onda's turn right now. Alright, so we get an invade in the north. Alright, so Onda's saying this turn. Is this... I can't click on anything. I'm like, why is it not... So we don't have a break here. 1, 2, 3. This can't... Wait, if it's here... 1, 2... You can hit these. You can splash here. Chuck... Can't reach. Down goes Chuck. I was like, how is Chuck dying? But making his way downtown. Let's see what happens. I mean, Chuck getting into position here, this is brutal, because the Chuck is just going to stand in this conga line. And, like, can you just heart rush at this stage? You might just be able to gun the heart down. Both players have max phobies. Oh, here's the 7th. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and the forces on Onda's side are not good. 20 keys. Oh my god. Wow. That is actually brutal, yeah. What was the last phobie you summoned? Was it Bachelor? See, I thought... So the big mistake here, I think, is just sending this stuff to the north. Like, you punching the heart here does nothing. I can understand the Bachelor taking the point, but these two have to come down. Because they're going to take too long to get involved. Let's see how this plays out. Is this just heart punching time from here on out? Perfect Chuck is protected from disease and poison, has the best coverage, best... He has 10 toes instead of 4. So we get the yoink. Why did you move the attractor? Like, at this point, you kind of need things to die. Hard to play with a 15-key disadvantage, I guess? Yeah, it would seem like it. Like, I would have left the attractor here and used it for additional damage. Wait. This had leap? Oh, no, you couldn't reach. Never mind. Never mind. Need to pull... Oh, we wouldn't have pulled anything if you were in that position? Okay. I mean, at this point, we kind of... 2,400 health. Yeah, you're toast. This, I think, is a good illustration of what Hakunay was bringing up the other day, that sometimes you just have to go for the throat. And, like, I guess if we assume that Onda had, you know, another 8,000 health on their heart or something, if he kills 2 of my phobies, I'm going to spawn Yeti Rocket Man. Look at Gravedigger's legs and Chuck's legs. Yeah, we were talking about it before, that Chuck seems to be made up of parts of... Well, I mean, they're both made up of parts of other phobies, but yeah, they seem to have the same feet. But I think this is a good example of what Hakunay was talking about, and it's not necessarily because Sivadas was able to lock Onda out of this, but take advantage of the situation and just go for it. As opposed to, like, getting caught in this stalemate and then stuff trades out, things like that. My replay is on the same map. This map is awful. Is it awful? I don't know that I love it, but I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones. Well, it's not that they skinned the Contortio. They kind of like hollowed Contortio out and made it a balloon. This is a great effort, Onda. But, they're still chucking a Klepto. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? GG. GG, well played, Sivadas. Great heads-up play here. And like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, take some notes, because this is a great heads-up play. Well, I don't think that Chuck is made out of gravediggers. I think they're made out of the same parts. I like this map. It's not like it's my favorite, but it's fine. That's kind of how I feel about it, DT. I don't think I hate this map. I might hate it eventually because there are some weird scenarios like that where I'm getting a Moai feeling out of this. Like, compare this map. We don't have it. Well, I could maybe pull it up side by side, but like, compare this map to Moai, where you have this channel here where you can set up a 3-ranger. Well, 3-ranger here, a lob, and then an extra conga line for defense, and it's difficult for your opponent to get in here, get the surface area you need. It reminds me of Moai to that degree where it's difficult to defend the heart, hypothetically. Is that actually how it works out in practice generally? I'm not sure, but I think there are worse maps. I think there are worse maps. I really should do a map tier list video. What do you think, chat? Should we maybe do that tomorrow? Do a map tier list video and just talk about, like, which maps I'd like and don't like? See, it's funny when we have both players in chat, and they can talk about the different perspectives on the game, even if some of them are beating sometimes. But it's fun when we can talk about the games. The burden just became heavier. Yeah, but Onda, you have so many games. And think about, like, all the people that I always stream in front of with all my losses. And I used to do videos dedicated to my losses. Believe me, it's not a big deal. You win some games, you lose some games. Nobody plays perfectly all the time. And I just witnessed a jar get annihilated. Just absolutely barbecued by a fire ant trap. It's a rough life. It's a rough life. The Hevo is a full HP and it all ends there. Yeah, generally if you lose your full HP, excuse me, you're dead. All right, so our hero here is Hakunay. We're back on Always Watching in the blue trunks. Opponent gets crazy, and when the defeat looked as inevitable as possible, then an obscure sequence of moves will just blow your minds. All right, let's see, Hakunay. I'm prepared to have my mind blown. Brony works pretty well on the Miss Cha map. Plenty of space to stretch that AoE. I could see it. I could see it. Right now, the big thing for Miss Cha's map, I know we're not really talking much about this, but we're getting some fairly reasonably standard stuff. Although, I take that back. Hakunay has elected to avoid the snowball opener and go for the Gravedigger here. Still gets an early immediate panic point. Well, gets an immediate panic point. You don't... Well, you do if you snowball. So this is an interesting wrinkle. I like this. I'll have to keep this in mind. We'll see what Hakunay's follow-up is. It's always good to take notes from players that are better than you, so I'll be taking notes here. But yeah, while we're paused, so that way we can focus on the game more. For the once lore, right now a lot of people are focused on a tractor and stuff like that, and I think it's pretty obvious why. It feels, somebody I saw offline said it was very stalematey like Xylo, and yeah, it kind of feels like Xylo, but rotated somewhat. Like I can see it. It feels like a rotated Xylo. So I could see a lot of the same gameplay patterns working out the same way. Now on Xylo, because of the blocks, the way they're set up in the middle, Brony isn't generally as effective, but I mean, you could utilize it. Here it feels more open. It's like Xylo 2.0. Yeah, I didn't notice it at first, but as soon as somebody said that, I'm like, holy shit, you're right. You're thinking of Brony's ability, think of it like an In-oculus. Yeah, exactly. It's difficult to... Even in the moment when you have those phobies, sometimes it's difficult to realize it, but yeah, you can absolutely stretch it really far. You play Gravedigger because in future I can have more combos with 3.0, so it's a passive investment I can use if Gravedigger survives. That's fair. I mean, I don't like Gravedigger because if it's... I don't know. I value Crushmore a lot more highly, but at the same time, I understand if the primary purpose is trying to break and create blocks, especially, like you said, as with 3.0. I get it. And I think I personally need to suck it up and just use Gravedigger more often, even though it frequently feels like dead weight, because it's this other body that's tying up one of your slots. It's not necessarily going to be able to get in or get out, because if it goes in, it's probably dead, you know what I mean? That Hevo 3.0 got one hit and then he died. On top of that, he didn't even kill the Crushmore he's going for. Ouch. All right, let's get back to the game. As we're talking about other games and other maps, let's talk about this one. Thought I got bit by something. Speaking of distractions. So this seems like a boo-boo. This seems like a boo-boo. I don't know if this was a bait just to eliminate their snowball, because maybe, you know, like, yes, your snowball dies, but then you'll get their snowball in retaliation, so it's an even trade. 2-to-1 panic point advantage, get the daisy. It was a bait. Okay, I figured it was. What are you going to get it with, cassowary? Yeah, that's reasonable. That's what I figured. Like, and I think the reason I want to call attention to it is, in these sort of scenarios, a lot of people would say, well, I want to keep my snowball alive. Why would I let it die even if it trades? Well, sometimes if your late game plan, and I don't know how many people do this, but as people get better at Phobies, it's absolutely going to be, I'm doing this thing now. And I think people, when you stop and think about it, it's just like chess. I'm doing this thing now so that 5 turns from now it pays off. And here, if the choice is, well, I don't want them to have snowball, well, I'm going to eliminate their snowball and bait it like this, because odds are they're going to go for it. Because most people will go, hey, a free snowball. And in this case, it worked out. So we'll see what the rest of Hakunay's game plan. Hey, Gabe, what's good? We might be doing your game replay a little later on. So we are getting a lot of trading back and forth because bad guys elected to eliminate Cassowary here. Cassowary can obviously die if Hakunay steps on here, which I imagine they will. Because this pterodactyl is not threatening this. If the pterodactyl comes in, it's dead. Well, maybe not now because... Oh, yes. Yes, it would be, because you'd kill it with this and then step on it or send a droney out, whatever. Check their levels. Oh, 13. Why is it... So I paused it and clicked on this. This is a weird bug that happens sometimes. Daisy got denied. This almost helps Orange. You could roll a lobber up here, but yeah, it does buy a little bit of time. Level 11 Daisy. Oh, I didn't know Juggernaut was level 100. This is bold? Why did this happen? Well, first of all, this is a over 500 health droney. Level 14. This does more damage than my jar right now. Level 14 droney, chat. I have no idea why this droney is there. Like, literally no idea. Does it not kill the terror? Could you have killed it? Would you, but would you have been able to reach it, though? Wait, can 1, 2, 3, 4, that couldn't reach. So if Moffat goes here and pulls here, I don't think you can get it with Droney. You don't have Snowball. It's 1, I can't tell how many... Oh no, Droney could reach, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that makes more sense. Click the heart. Will that show the spaces? I can't get it to show the space. I was getting confused as to like how many spaces were here. So yes, it would have died. So the Droney makes sense to prevent the Droney. But still down 2 keys. Yeah, exactly. Probably would have been better to just, like, leave. But you leave the cat on the board, so... So you're down 1 key, technically. It's up for debate. Why the hell did Slammerhead just happen? Level 14 Slammerhead. 2,500 health. Pull onto the obstacle, don't need drone. Oh, yeah, you're right. It will. For some reason, I didn't think it would go there. Wait, where was it? It was here? Yeah. I did actually think that, and then I second-guessed myself. I'm like, no, it'll pull it in front. So yeah, the pterodactyl probably shouldn't have even been there. Alright, so we get Hematic Ginsting, the Hakunay special. Alright, I'm really confused by this Slammerhead, though. Speaking of Hevo 3.0, so Hakunay has gotten a lot of value out of this Gravedigger so far. I mean, you got this to allow for an easier transition out of the vault. You got the block here to prevent anything mean from happening down here. Wasted a bunch of your opponent's time. Now, one other thing that I'd like to point out in contrast to the last game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phobies. 1, 2, 3, 4 Phobies. Another Hakunay special. We get a little Gonzo action here. At 3.0 at a lot of HP. Level 10. I think mine's level 10, honestly. Alright, so we do have a Lobber in position here to threaten. What? Why is this happening? I don't... Look, we were debating about the pterodactyl play, and I admittedly was like, I thought it was closer, and then, like I said, I second-guessed where it was going to pull, but, like, the pterodactyl was threatened, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's something there. Just keep going? Alright. We'll find out what our opponent has in store. They're setting something up that I cannot see right now. The other plays... I understand. This one makes no sense. So we get an erratic as the penultimate phobia out of our hero here. Notably 6 keys. Like, we didn't see quantity-wise. Oh my god. It's happening, chat! Walk the blob! It's walk the glob! Oh my god! That is fantastic. That's actually really funny. So wait, Glob is... First of all, this is a level 15 Glob. First of all. Second of all, it only has 1 move, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4... Like, you don't have to back up that far, but you have to respect it, is the bigger thing. Last phobia from Bad Guy is Bad Omen. I'm afraid to look, chat. Let me know in chat, or... Pause this if you're watching it on YouTube. Let me know down in the comments. What level do you think this Bad Omen is? Chat, any guesses? Any guesses the Bad Omen level? It's a level 11. Level 11. This is a hell of a lineup to face down. This is a hell of a lineup. 325 damage debuff. Seems okay. Seems okay. So this whole erratic glob situation seems bad. So wait a second. We may find out. This is pretty cool. We may use this as a thumbnail. That looks pretty cool. This may come up, but like, say you digest an enemy. If you kill the glob, if they're pushed or pulled. Oh, you won't be able to do that because they could just yoink it and pull the erratic out. Well, erratic's backing off anyway, but... Yeah, exactly, Dojo. That's what I was double checking on the glob to see how that would interact. So 3-1 panic point advantage, bad guy, but there's still over 7k health. Hakunay's got time to stage this. The problem is this situation up here is, it's not dire, but it's not great. Glob is hungry, true. Here it comes. The glob. Alright, so I assume this thing is dead. Like, it was in range. It has to die here, right? Yeah. Gravedigger's gonna walk up. Bad guy just getting picked apart, phobie by phobie here. Can you digest more than one thing at a time? I assume not. It doesn't say you can't. Huh. Do all the dimensional phobies say no damage dealt if they have no damage? I don't think I ever noticed that on, like, Boomer or anything. He says on the tile he can't be on 2 tiles. Yeah, but, like, if you keep moving, you could roll across another phobie. So, like, the way this is worded, I mean, let's be real, it's not going to work that way. But if sharing a tile with an enemy at the end of your turn, so I eat one this turn, and then next turn I eat it, because it doesn't kill it. You can't move while eating? Is that true? Can move on the tiles containing enemies. If sharing a tile with an enemy at the end of your turn, deals damage and immobilizes them. It immobilizes them. But it's immobilizing Glob as well? Okay. Interesting. I've seen Glob, like, once before this, so... Quad panic point advantage for bad guy. Here's where it's starting to look dicey, but at the same time, like... Bad guy has to race. He's got to finish his meal. That's what I figured. I mean, that's how I'd expect it to work. And just like that, panic point advantage negated. Yeah, bad guy got picked apart. Keep an eye on your heart. What are you at? The game will let me click on it. 3312. Glob wants a taste of that jar. Gross. Gross. I imagine Moffat is going into the glob. What's in the glob? Oh no, bad guy, why? This is a pretty fun pause. I don't quite understand. I guess just to make sure that the Moffat dies from the eat this turn. But I get the sense that bad guy's gonna come to regret that because they need the damage. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Hakunay, to get it in one turn, but like... Does the glob die this turn? I guess it could, hypothetically. You could juice either of these. Alright, giving the glob a plethora of targets here. So our hero is at under 1k health, chat. How are you going to chase away this? Oh my god, really? Wait, do you have... Oh, you got the break. Oh, yeah, break live. He wants that erratic? Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, because the erratic's the big threat. Although the erratic would not be able to, like... Wait, really? Yeah, because you don't get the fire damage, so the Hevo needs 3 more attacks to kill this. Evo needs 3 attacks to kill this because panic point advantage is now in our hero's favor. Just like that, it's Glob and Hevo versus the world, chat. Really? I guess. Yeah, this makes sense. Are you going to eat this in one turn? I can't. 162 health. Oof. And of course the Gravedigger lives. Wow, well played, Hakunay. It hurt Glob, not the Jin Sting. Yes, you're right, Dojewall. 96 health. A stray hit by anything, even the paddles would have gotten it, chat. 96 health. I don't think that beats the... What was the record? I don't remember. I feel like it was 50-something. Look at the Stairmaster HP. 59. This is wild. This is well played, Hakunay. There were obviously a number of things that Bad Guy could have done differently to make this work, I think. Only they hit the heart a second time? Yeah, I told you. But one thing I'm wondering is... So what is the Glob at here? It's still over 32, almost 3,300 health. What if you eat the Gravedigger here and then just attack heart? It's 1,000, 2,200, 27, 20... I don't think you can kill this turn. Main problem was boosted Glob and I had no damage at the beginning. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't work. I just don't see how... Well, maybe you could. You go to body block Gravedigger with the Glob and protect at 3.0. Well, that's what I'm saying. You eat the Gravedigger with the Glob and then just go face. I don't know if... Because you don't quite kill the Glob that turn, but you kill it trivially the next turn. And then the question is, I assume this Phobie pops out if Glob dies, and then you probably just kill the Hevo. Because then this hits twice, this'll hit twice. Well, this could hit once, the jar could hit, you know. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff to consider here, so this was really cool. Also a fun showcase of Glob. Gotta love a little Glob action. But at this point, they literally cannot hurt you. So you just run around and make sure that you're never in range for the Glob to catch you, and the game is over. Or you just kill the Glob. GG, Hakunay. Well played. That was actually a really fun game. Glob ate many Phobies. I think it ate like 4 Phobies that game. It got the Jin Sting, the Moffat, the Gravedigger. Maybe it was only 3. Did it get 4? That Slammer had so much HP. Yeah, and it was basically offered up for nothing. No, the Pterodactyl was really offered up for nothing. They did a great job of protecting it early on and then just kind of let it die. But yeah, and obviously any stray hit there. Yeah, it ate Erratic. That was the one I forgot. That was a really cool game. That was a really cool game. In addition, it was arena. Calculating that comeback was really exhausting, I'd imagine. I absolutely would have just picked, like, whatever game plan. I would have just stuck with the line and been like, alright, this seems good enough. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, we can do a bunch of game reviews and then we'll figure out what we're doing on Sunday. Like, people could submit more game reviews, whatever. Speaking of Stabby, since we had that long discussion earlier. I haven't seen you use a lot of Brony. I haven't had a lot of scenarios. I don't think it's great on small maps. I mean, well, I guess it's fine. I used it a lot when we first got it. But there's just simply, like, there's a lot of Phobies now. Like, there's a lot of Phobies to consider across the board for a variety of things. Hope we see some Pokemon tonight. We're going to be sticking with Phobies tonight. We did take a poll earlier, and Phobies won out. No variety tonight. But we will have it on Monday. Maybe tomorrow. We'll play it by ear. Sunday, we might, I guess, if we don't have a ton of game reviews. That's going to also be up in the air. Because because of daylight savings time, basically my stream starts later compared to when the server resets, so maybe there'll be actual games to play, as opposed to when I would start streaming previously, the server reset would be an hour and a half or something into the stream, and then it ended up being super awkward. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter here, because they can kill it no matter what. Yeah, I was playing Pokemon on the bonus stream yesterday. I'm curious how long it's going to take me to finish the game, because I'm just kind of derping around so much that, like, I legitimately don't know when we're going to complete the game. I don't think, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you have enough damage without the snowball. And I was debating moving the Stabby up because of the positioning, but we'll just kill it, replace, and be fine. I know they wanted the Henrietta to connect on Stabby, but... This can't kill it, right? No, it can't. Kill Unbearable action, chat. No, nobody died last night on the bonus stream. Nobody died on the bonus stream. Oh, it's better for Henrietta in this kind of situation. Poison Stabby or take the panic point. I think you probably go for Stabby, just force me to use the muffin sort of thing. Like, because otherwise, did anybody evolve? Yes. We had one evolution. Forgot who it was. Yeah, Scrungle evolved. That's who it was. So honestly, I don't think Unbearable's great here, but are you doing a Nuzlocke? Sort of. We're not adhering to all of the Nuzlocke rules, other than if somebody dies, they're dead. That's basically the one that we're doing. Yeah, the Stork is a dark type. Kind of want Sock Acid, one Key Poison just feels great. I want to try sock acid because the poison is actually threatening. It does matter. As compared to Henrietta's, you could just, even on a dimensional phobia, it's like, all right, I'll just eat it. And then when I muffin, it's going to erase everything. Whereas at least for, at least when we're talking about sock acid, if you spend 2 turns eating that poison, you're going to feel it. It matters. You can't necessarily, you're going to have to Clinico or something in order to heal off what you need at that stage. So they're banking, so I'm banking. We have the panic point advantage, although it's basically been even the whole game for the most part. You've had a lot of scenarios where you would have lost without sock acid poison? Really? At a match against Mildred, I would have lost if I didn't have sock acid. I could see it. I wonder... Nah, it wouldn't really work against Chuck, because Chuck is just... like, it would be impossible to get it to connect, right? They went Rocket Man, chat. Should I go Yeti? Freeze the freeze guy? That's not the right thing to do. It's absolutely not, but it would be funny. Can we summon Luffy? Yeah, Luffy's gonna hear Yeti in the ether. Like, the correct answer is Klepto, and we'll just go Klepto, but it would be funny to freeze the freezer. Go Yeti. If Yeti was 7, I would do it. I want a, I want a 1 key, so, like, chewing up all our keys that way is not desirable. You melt the ice with Snowball later? True. I did want to go Yeti for the lulz, that's the main reason, but as much as I don't mind memeing, well, I mean, to be honest, I don't really like doing memes, but I'm fine doing them. But I don't want it to be, okay, we're only playing the Boom family today, or, you know, something stupid like that. And I think Yeti is verging on, this is such an extreme play that we're putting ourselves in such a hole that it doesn't feel fair. We can Russell for the lulz, but no Yet. Well, yeah, because Russell's so much better. Isn't it, though? Justice for Yeti. They will win the key trading war, though, chat. Like, this is a thing to be considered. Yeah, they have 7 keys. That's why if we got into, like, a 1-key trading war, they will win that. How do we end up down keys like that? It's just this is a little more costly, because this matches, this matches, this matches. This is up by 1, that's 1, and then they had the extra, so yeah. 3 more keys. I hate 1-key trades. As I said before, if you're doing those, that means something probably went wrong. Like, you shouldn't be 1-key trading. Rocket Man is some of the best animations. Very true. I doubt I can get this. Not even close. They could freeze this, which would be annoying. This was so that I can... I don't think I can kill it, but we can deter the Rocket Man. I didn't really... Like, I don't like this Gin Sting investment. Sheep, they have no room to play Muffin. I'll never connect with anything valuable. Because what'll happen is, like, oh, they'll let me connect on Rocket Man, and then they'll walk in and freeze something, and, like, yes, we got the Rocket Man, but we'll lose the sheep plus the freeze. I just realized Bad Omen's ability animation is just like Razormouth's spawn animation. Is it? They are max, though, so, like, they have to commit something relevant into the center, and I would have assumed it would have been Stabby. For obvious reasons. Like, if they can get the Stabby to the center, then they get the dimensional pull, they get the damage, they get all this fun stuff. But I would have tried to send out the one key first if I were them, and then do all this other stuff. You can't leave the... This had to have been an error. Because now I just kill this for free, right? We're just doing the damage differently. So they could get the, either of they could get the Murder Wing, but then I just beat up on what's remaining. Alright, Roxwan, take it easy. So I was a little concerned about the splash here. But I feel like they had to do this. Yeah, they have to do this, and even then, you're committing these two? Okay, yeah, they do the direct attack here, but now these two get double attacks on here. The important thing here is that I kill the Klepto. I don't think I can... Well, I can't kill it with... Because we're only going to get, like, 2k on this. But it is crippled. Which is clearly relevant. Which is the whole purpose for moving the Klepto into range to begin with. Three, 6, 9, 5, 14, 15. So we should be okay. What if there's a phobie that's burning the phobie for a few turns, not burning the tile? It's poison that it's fire, it hurts mechanical. We've talked about, or people have suggested before, what if there was a poison that hurt mechanicals? I don't know if we really want that. Yeah, so you just want another debuff for the phobies. I mean, if it was another thing, I like the idea of a burn more than I like the idea of a, So we should have left the damn thing where it was. I like the idea of a burn better than I like the idea of poison suddenly being able to hit things that it couldn't before. Oh wow, chat, I'm getting my ass kicked here. This all of a sudden got really bad. Why did I go Jin Sting? Because at the time I wanted to threaten the Rocket Man that was down there. Could have saved a key with Spud. I wouldn't have had enough damage. At the time. Or I don't think I would have had enough damage. Because my Spud is, like, almost 100 damage less. Rocket Man just died? Yeah, but I got the Jin Sting like 3 turns before that happened. So, yes, if I could see the future, I would have made a different play. That is true. If I could literally see the future, I probably would have made a different play. We have time, though. Like, eventually I'll... Like, I could do this. And, like, they can walk back, but they can't hit Jin Sting with both of these, and Jin Sting can walk away for a few turns. Like, we're not in a terrible position. I could be in a way better position. You stand no chance against me, for I have time on my side. You're the Rolling Stones now? Anybody ever see that movie with Denzel Washington? Did you see Fallen? I think the name of the movie is Fallen. How much does this do? I don't know if this just dies. It does not. Wow, GG. Got him! Got him! Is Unbearable sitting on the ball? Yes. So Unbearable is supposed to be like a circus bear, an undead circus bear. Unbearable is honestly really good. It's okay. That and Big House are the maps that I really like it on. Big House isn't in the rotation right now, but obviously lobber maps, but RCO is a map where there's a lot of key trading, and then inevitably there's, you know, the diving, murder wing, and stuff like that. It puts out damage, it can tank pretty well, it heals. But the issue is exactly what we saw in that last game, where if your opponent can clear out the rest of it and leave Unbearable alone, Unbearable needs support. So it really depends on the map. Yeah, it's an annoying turret. It can be, and initially, like months ago, when Stabby first came into prominence, I was utilizing Unbearable as an anti-Stabby. I didn't have a lot of, you know, my collection was much smaller then, so the idea was you get Unbearable online, it already has more health than Stabby. I think it does the same amount of damage, but it has life leech, so you just tank it out. It doesn't always work out that way, honestly. Like, you'd almost always rather have Stabby. The fact that the 4 keys in the starter pack are Primate and Unbearable, it's obvious which one is the better pick. So you're not guaranteed Primate. You're not guaranteed Primate. I do have Primate, but I only just got it, like, last season. Or the season before. Definitely wasn't in the starter. And I'm not sure that it's obvious which is the better pick. I would probably say Primate generally now. I would have said something different at different points, I guess. Depends on the map. The thing is that Leap is generally more useful because, well, it's less Leap and more the mobility. Having only one move is an enormous drawback. Like, it is a big deal having only one move. Small map or big map. Obviously, on a big map, a one-mover like Unbearable, for what it is not very good. You want a lot more than that. Even with more walls, it depends on, like, yes, surface area is going to be at a premium, but the thing is, you have to look at the leaps as effectively range. And arguably, it's a better range. Because if you're already in range, you can leap and then still get out. Well, I guess that doesn't necessarily make it better, because you could, if you're already in range with a range phobia, you can do that. But if you... I remember thinking about this. What was the... There was something about leap. So, like, let's say you're here, because this is the easiest map. Something's here. No, this isn't a good example. We need something that's open. Alright, so let's say something's on the stem, you're here, you leap, you can end up here. If you're ranged, you zap, and you end up here. So you don't actually get farther away. So it's not... Yeah, the better range is not... It could matter because of reasons, but yeah. Cassowary is also in the starter pack. That I'm pretty sure is true. Considering your Dermic is level 1, I'm guessing you got no use out of the Doctor. I haven't even looked at it. I just don't see a reason for Dr. Dermic. Actually, I take that back. I used it in 2 games, and it won both of those games. And I'm not making that up. In both of those games, I needed double healers, like a Clinico, a reusable healer. And they healed Evo 3.0 and something else big, respectively. I don't remember what it was. But I ran it out there in 2 games because all you care about is the 1500 heal. Like, that's a humongous heal, a gargantuan heal. You don't... yes, the other stats matter, but you really don't care. I think both are great, but the new map with lots of Abyss tiles, I'd say Unbearable. You're talking about the once lore? I would not go Unbearable on the once lore, if that's what you're talking about. You mean... Oh, Agora. The once lore's already out. On this one, I don't think I'd want it here, either. Because you're just asking for a Miss Moffat to ruin your day. Plus, you can't really cover anything here. Like, I guess this targets this, but you could just do that with a range phobie. This map, it might be good on. If it's the once lore, the Miss Cha map, where it looks like the Raining Worms one, that one rotate out. It's like Xylo, but rotated. I wouldn't do it on that map, because that map gets dominated right now, at least, by poles. And that is just begging your opponent to either get you with a Tractor or a Moffat or whatever. Because you'll never be in range to hit anything unless you're right up on those Abyss tiles. Remember, you can... ranged over those easily, so I think Detention might be good for Unbearable, because it gets into the problem is, again, the moves. It takes 2 full sets of moves for you to get positioned where you'd want to be. Probably 3 turns, because it's, you know, you pop 1, 2 1, 2, we'll say here, then you gotta move, and then you can lob aggressively. Which means you only get the 1 attack, and then you're sitting there. And most people open up with a variety of 1-drops and Cassowary and stuff, so they can probably collapse on the Unbearable, which, while it's tanky and it has Life Leech, it doesn't actually do that much damage. It has respectable damage, but I'm pretty sure it's 375 like Stabby. The difference is Stabby has the dimensional damage, and Stabby has the Reflect. So it's actually... the damage output on Stabby is actually way higher than people realize. Unbearable is tankier, but isn't notably so because the life leech that you're getting isn't necessarily going to keep you alive. It's a big problem. I think those maps where the In-oculus family especially shines, their electrical weakness is kind of useless outside of Ray. Electricals lack the mobility. So let's assume you're talking about Agora, because I could see that being the case. The thing is that their weakness to electrical isn't the balancing factor for the most part. It's just a bonus. You have to look at it as though it was a monster phobie, I think. And you treat it as they're supposed to be paper thin. Can I do 1,000 damage? Because any 2 reasonable damage output phobies should kill it. You know, Cyclops plus another 5 key. Quagmire that's in range plus a Murder Wing that flies in. Now, granted, you have to spend, say, 6, 7, 8, 9 keys advancing those, not necessarily losing them, but advancing them in order to kill a 4-key In-oculus, I would argue making that trade for an attractor is worth it because the attractor's probably going to get that value anyway if you let it. So there's a lot of spots on the sides of the Mistchaw map where you can hold them without being pulled. I guess if you really want to lock those down, but do you specifically need the lobber to do that? Like, I know the spots you're talking about in the top right and the bottom left, but your opponent has to come around the obstacles to get there anyway, so. Most phobies that do 1,000 are melee, which aren't exactly easy to get them on Innoculus. Well, I'm not saying 1,000 in one shot. Any two decent ranged phobies should kill an Innoculus. Like, when I say decent, ones that you would normally play, don't pick, like, something terrible. And that they are reasonably leveled. So, for example, if we talk about my Innoculus, 1,000 health, right? So we're just saying roughly 1,000. The attractor is a little bit thicker, I think. It's 1,034. So, and this is level 6, and the Innoculus is at level 10. So if we assume level 10 phobies, right? Level 10 phobies. This does 540. So Primate and Cassowary kill Innoculus evenly. Primate plus basically any ranged phobie that you're playing, like Ginsting and Primate kill it. That sort of thing. Speedolus could be a good counter to the Innoculus family. Together they one-shot and have the mill ability to do it. Can they one-shot it on level? I'd have to go look at the spreadsheet. I don't know what the damage is. I have the red Speedola, but I don't have the blue one. You would need both, right? Both would have to connect. There's no way one of them is doing 1,000 damage with one hit, right? The problem there is, and this is the issue I have with the Attractor, you just spent 11 keys to deal with 6. Now, you may or may not lose them on the way back. Odds are, and if you lose one of them, then the other one's vulnerable because it's going to lose the speed bonus. But your opponent's not going to just offer up a Tractor unless they make a mistake, in which case, okay, you probably get them anyway. I think a Tractor's nerf should be they change the warm-up or the cooldown or both. Yeah, they are both very fat, the Speedolas, but you have to assume that the Attractor has a cadre, a bodyguard, or set of bodyguards. His entire entourage is there, and they are just itching for a fight. So, like, they're going to tee off on one of the things. Mine's level 8 and already deals 600 damage if you have the buff. I mean, that's significant. Maybe you send in one of the Speedolas. You know, you have both of them, but you only have to... you send in the red one, and then follow it up with whatever, because you want to keep the blue alive so that the Speedola can get out. Because it'll probably tank the... like, it might tank the damage. We were just talking about how it'll probably get teed off on. But that means if they lay into the Speedola, they don't necessarily kill your other phobie. You know, one turn longer cooldown would be good for a Tractor. I think it just... every other turn is just too much. Maybe it's... I'm very curious if the devs tested it at a 2-turn cooldown and it was bad. Like, I wonder if a Tractor with a 2-turn cooldown is bad. I have a hard time believing that, but this is one of those hypotheticals that it's difficult to get your head around the implications of this, and we'd really have to walk through it. And I don't know if that's the case. I just don't like it because of the scenarios it sets up, which is independent of win rate. And I say this for a lot of games. Win rate is not the be-all, end-all. A lot of things are due for leveling. And believe me. And we have the XP. I'm just being lazy about it. Win rate is not necessarily the most important thing for phobies. Because you could have something that's perfectly balanced, as in it literally wins and loses 50% of the games it's involved in, and still be miserable, and be an absolute horrendous experience. You could have something that wins 90+% of the time, and maybe everybody's having a blast, no matter who's playing it. It's hard to imagine how that happens, but the former scenario where something is 50-50, but it's miserable, is easier to concoct. And I think the easiest example, to again call back to earlier, is Stabby. If Stabby shows up in virtually every game, its win rate is going to be damn close to 50. That's how it works. Both people have Stabby, so they cancel each other out, because one wins and one loses. And if those numbers aren't pulled out of the statistics, which we don't know what the dev team's back end is, if they aren't pulled out of the statistics, they will absolutely drown out the games where only one player plays Stabby. Because there's just going to be way more people going Stabby, Stabby throughout games than there are people who are going to pop a Stabby and the opponent doesn't. So, if, not to be a broken record, but if the complaint by some people is that Phobies is stale, things like Stabby and Attractor, I think, encourage these scenarios, and then also encourage, beyond just being stale of, oh, well, I see the same phobia game after game after game after game after game after game. The other issue is just general play patterns. I think Attractor makes for miserable play patterns. I think it's disastrous because it's like, well, I can't dive the Attractor because I wasn't prepared. And yes, you could say, well, prepare for the Attractor. Well, guess what? There are a lot of good 6 keys. And they, the way you answer Klepto is not the same way you answer Attractor, or Crushmore, or Rambolina, or a 5 and a 1, whatever. Attractor demands specific things, and odds are, if you weren't prepared and ready to go right then, you're not diving it to kill it. Like, let's just put it out there. It's not happening. So then it becomes this idiot game of you're the Attractor player just marching their opponent backwards until either they're forced to commit, or the Attractor player ends the game on the spot by getting a yoink that just obliterates your opponent. That's what it feels like. That clearly isn't 100% of the time. I know I have Attractor. I've been forcing it in a ton of games, believe me. And there are times where Attractor probably wasn't the correct play. But it never feels like a bad play. There's never been a game where I'm like, I'm putting out Attractor and this is a really bad idea. No, it's probably fine. It just may not be the optimal play. And I don't have a problem with there being phobies like that, similar to Stabby, but the whole point, to bring it back to the beginning, is win rates aren't the only measure, and maybe shouldn't even be the major measure. Because you could have Attractors, if everybody had Attractor at 50.0 to the infinite decimal place, an Attractor could still be a miserable gameplay pattern, and therefore bad for the game. That's the worst part about the In-oculus family. There's no bad Oculus play. I don't really like Repeller. Repeller's okay, but it's not great. It doesn't have as much health as the other two, which is weird, because yoinks are way better. Like, I have 1,000 health on the level 6 Attractor. Why does this have more health than the Repeller? That makes no sense. Yoinks are better than Boops. Granted, this does more damage, but you care about the ability. But anyway, I don't like Repeller as much. But yeah, most of the time, you're fine playing them, like, all the time. They're all good to such a degree you can play it when you're losing and still do something. Yeah. And like I said, for me personally, and I know other people will feel differently, I'm fine if there are some phobies that are like that. And you know what? They'll outshine the Rusties of the world, which I don't have because I'm not on an album. They'll outshine the Rusties of the world and the Kerblooms of the world. But there'll be scenarios where Kerbloom is exactly what you need. And I think that's okay. Not everybody feels that way because everybody wants something different from the game. And that's also okay. That's allowed. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's part of the problem of assessing the game. Is the game healthy? Depends on who you ask and what the criteria are. Because there will absolutely be people that say, no, I see Stabby every freaking game. The game sucks. And that's not true. I mean, on any of those accounts, but you certainly do see Stabby a lot. And Stabby does influence things, but that doesn't mean that Stabby is necessarily stifling the game. I think you could make an argument for it, but the game isn't bad on account of that. But there's also times where those phobies are too good everywhere. One of my personal favorite good in just about any scenario is Quagmire's job to be a big fat boy who takes big fat damage. I mean, yeah. If a phobie does their job well, it's going to be difficult to dislodge them from the niche unless they are strictly, like the other phobie is strictly better than them, thereby pushing it out entirely. Because there are some things that are just so axiomatically basic that you're just talking about the underlying game mechanics. For example, think about if Stabby had 2 moves. There'd be literally nothing that would be the best 3-cost phobie, right? Straight up. And there are things where it isn't necessarily that overpowered. It's more that, like Quagmire, they fulfill their role, and how else are you going to make an alternative Quagmire? If the goal is, I want something tanky for 5 keys that's mobile, what are you going to do? Give it more HP so it's tankier? Like, that's a variant if you had Quagmire with no healing but just a ton of HP. Is that good? Like, as in, would it be good for the game? I don't know about that. It could get super weird, but what the hell? And that's the thing, is I think a lot of people, again, collection restraints are what's hindering people. I think that if everybody had access to all phobies and they were all at the same level, there would be many different discussions that were happening. I like Metabot more than Dermot because his entire job is to heal and all has a droney mobility. I could see that. Yeah, I think Metabot's probably better than Dermot. It doesn't quite heal as much, and so this is important differentiation as compared to like what we were talking about. There are multiple ways in which Metabot is different from Dr. Dermot. Has less health, has less damage, but it has more mobility. It does less healing. It's on a different cooldown, quicker cooldown, as compared to Metabot. So there are scenarios, depending on the tempo of the game, the timing of the game, the key costs, all kinds of stuff, that will cause you to say, you know what, I need to go Dermot, I can't go Metabot, or I have to go Metabot and not Dermot. And those are the kind of things that I'm fine with. As compared to, like, for Quagmire, we would need a 4-key that regenerates probably less. I don't know. Like, you could play around with stuff that maybe changes it, but ultimately, even between Metabot and Dermot, or any of these comparisons, one of them is likely going to win out over the other, as this is my main one, and then this is the one that's the niche one, because whatever the scenario is going to come up more often than the other. Quagmire's already built to be a smaller alligator, exactly. And that, again, that's a great example that alligator is not useless. It's just that Quagmire generally fulfills the role for cheaper, so you use that instead. But, for example, on Scopoceum, why not both? Por qué no las dos? Alright, so we're doing another out-of-band game review just because we're getting close to the end of the stream, taking it a little easy. Our hero here is Great Ginger Gabe in the orange trunks here on This May Sting a Little. So let's see what we got. Well, let's first see what the notes were. Beat the bane of my existence, Hevo 2.0. Hevo 2.0 is a big ol' threat. It is a big ol' problem. And on this map, I could definitely see it. We saw Boops put to great use the other day in a different review, but that was from Rambolina. Hevo 2.0 could absolutely do it to you here as well. So we'll see what our hero has in store. Pretty standard openers from both players. Some unique wrinkles, namely the cassowary and the snowball, as compared to, going 2-1 or whatever from Gabe, and then cassowary is clearly a specific bank for something. I guess we're going to see the Hevo soon. All right, Onda, no problem. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Have a good night or good day. I know you're in a different area of the world than I. Oh, we get an oopsie baby. Yo, oopsie baby. Oopsie baby is a phobia that I did try and force a lot. Did not really come together for me, truthfully. It just did not I can't find the scenario where I want it. Now, I acquired it after full disclosure. Really? Alright, Gabe. If you're watching this, you gotta let me know, because I've seen a lot of people break this block, and it never seems to really make much of a difference. We saw one where a regular range phobia, I think, got up here faster, and that's why. Ah, alright, Dojewall. Alright. So Crushmore's rolling into position, even on panic points. That's going to change shortly, but it's not going to matter if bad guy even wants to do this, because Gabe will be able to trivially recap. Well, maybe not, because the Oopsie Baby, between this and the Oopsie Baby... Okay, so... what bad guy could have done here is if you send in the cat, Oopsie Baby and Cassowary can cover this right now, and then put the Murder Wing, like, here. Yes, you don't have anything in position to prevent this back cap, but you cap this top one, so basically you're going to end up even on panic points for now. And then you threaten killing these. They could kill the Cassowary, but then that means that they are in range for the cat to hit, possibly in range for the Erratic to hit, depending on where they put the Murder Wing. Like, they could go here and here. So you're trading Cassowary for Murder Wing, which you'd probably do. I'm confused. Erratic against no electricals. I used to swear by Erratic, but not at the moment. Not at the moment. So this was a good heads-up play to protect the jar to a degree, but you pay for it with your Murder Wing. Because I think this snowball, 1, 2... oh, no, the snowball couldn't have reached, right? 1, 2, 3... no, snowball couldn't have gotten into position to hit the jar, so this was just a dead Murder Wing for no purpose. Make it a dead Crushmore, though, which would be not be a good trade. Murder Wing for Crushmore seems pretty good for bad guy. No, there's no way you have enough damage, do you? Oh, you do! I thought the cat had attacked. And there's the Evo. Honestly, I prefer Zappy over Erratic. I'd rather counter damage over AoE, plus Zappy's mechanical. I mean, I used to swear by Erratic more, but I respect Zappy a lot. You just don't see it very often. I don't know if a lot of people don't have it or they don't like it. But the reflect damage absolutely matters. We've seen the power of it with Stabby, so at this point, I think I'd lean towards Zappy, but even against non-electricals. So our hero did end up losing the Crushmore -2 keys, effectively, because it was the cat and the Murder Wing. But panic point advantage hero. Get a power down here on the Gin Sting, which is obnoxious because just it's now doing less damage than it normally would do, even on the stem. This is going to be tough to crack. You don't have a ton of damage to threaten the Hevo. Even less now because your line of sight blocking the Murder Wing. You'd have to move. And if you advance in, you might be able to get the Erratic, though. Yeah, this should be a dead Erratic between the lava and everything else. I like the power down, but there was no need to put this here. That wasn't even difficult to do. Wow. That was not even difficult to do. This is an important body block also, because otherwise this Hevo could walk up, boop the cat, and then kill the Gin Sting. But now, instead, bad guy is staring down a Rambolina with only these 3 Phobies. This is a powerful army with a 4-to-1 panic point advantage from Gabe. We're probably gonna, yep, kill an AoE-age. Get a couple takedowns. Triple takedowns. Things are evening out, but still, bad guy has to do something. They need to advance. Only 4 keys left, 0 keys left. 9 keys for Gabe. This is a well-played setup by Gabe. Bad guy just kind of overextended. I don't think they had to have thought or felt that there was no way my Erratic is going to die. It'll take a bunch of damage, but I can heal it off and I'll be fine. Not gonna happen. That Dimensional Pull also saves 2.0 from getting booped into the pit. Yep. I imagine that bad guy was counting on that. So we're getting a more defensive posture here, but unfortunately, I expect this is going to result in some kills for, some takedowns for our hero. Sniping the jar there specifically. Definitely didn't need to let the jar go down. Hero's jar is now on the stem. It's a rough spot for bad guy. You can get some AoE from this, you can get some AoE from this. You could actually get the boop to kill the jar if boop is up, but we'll find out momentarily if they go for it anyway. I'm going to guess it's not. It's not up. It shouldn't have been, but just losing a little track. Moving down here is a little weird. I mean, I get it. Get out of here, but guess what? We're going to get... Oh, well, he could juice the jar. Or does it kill it without? Kills it without. Bad guy is just getting picked apart left and right here. Absolutely shredded here. Whoop. I didn't mean to skip ahead. Yeah, some big L's here. Big L's. I do love seeing the Rambolina. Rambolina is a phobie that has fallen off for me dramatically. I really liked Rambolina when I first got it. And since then, I don't even know if the last game I used it in. Speaking of Rambolina boops, there you go, getting it in. I mean, it doesn't matter. Bad guy was dead. There was no way bad guy was coming back from this. You just weren't. There was not enough stuff. It certainly didn't help their case, but they were done. He's already dead. Just stop. Just stop. It goes down with the fire. GG. Well played. Well played, Gabe. Well done. That was an example of I made one mistake and it cost me the game. That one singular turn where bad guy overextended basically lost them the game because they were desperately fighting from the back foot at that point and could not try and get over the hump. But yeah, bad guy... Phobies comes down to who makes more mistakes, and sometimes it's literally 1-0. I make a mistake, you don't, you win. Levels will also play into it, and as I actually haven't said it in a while, now that I think about it, despite all of the level-related conversations. Extra levels, higher levels, allow you to... And we're talking phobia levels, or those stress levels indirectly related, allow you to make more mistakes, or a greater severity mistake than your opponent. It doesn't mean that you are... It completely invalidates it. And realistically, I think Phobies is a skill-based game. There are things that play into it that make it frustrating when it feels like it's not. But it is a very deterministic game, and... So this is something that I've been thinking about offline, chat. So there was a kid who microwaved their phone. People were doing that for years on YouTube. They would put phones and laptops and things in the microwave because, I don't know, they're idiots. They have more money than sense. I don't know. It obviously got a lot of views. Just, oh my god, did you see the guy who microwaved his brand new iPhone? Whatever. Oh, that's what it was. So, I mentioned earlier that I've been trying to find a secondary game so that way I could stream it. And I'm thinking Pokemon might be that. We'll see if people like... Once I hit the end game and I'm doing like regular Pokemon battles, if I get the Nintendo thing, the Nintendo Xbox Live equivalent, whatever it's called. If people enjoy that, I think it's a way to be like, hey, you like this turn-based game, Pokemon? Well, check out Phobies. Phobies is pretty cool. Come take a look. And, you know, like people see the content and stuff. But it's funny because as I look for other games, if I'm not going to play Pokemon, like what other game am I going to play? I feel like I can't play any turn-based strategy games anymore, or tactics games, because every one of them almost without fail, I'm like, well, I could play this game that has variance in it because it's a card game. Or I could play Phobies, that I love playing Phobies, and it's deterministic. So if I screw up, it's on me. Like, that's kind of what it comes down to with a lot of games. I look at these games and I'm like, well, Phobies, the games are quicker than, like, a full-blown tactics game. And that's not to say, like, there are tactics games that are, like, single-player ones that I'm thinking about getting, but I'm waiting for them to go on sale, sort of thing. So I could get something like that, but that's a long slog, or it's a big story, or whatever. If I just want to, like, jump on, play a couple games, and then jump off, I'll probably just play Phobies. I'll do some async. If I want a PvP game, it's Phobies. If it's this, it's Phobies, and that's what it keeps coming back to. I do want to get, like, Mythgard on stream, because I think there would be some crossover there, and Mythgard is very deterministic as well, but I'm waiting for, like, the new set and stuff. Alright, Doge, well, we're probably going to close up in a minute anyway, so... But I'm open to suggestions for other games if people have specific things that they'd like to see. I know Discord constantly is throwing stuff at me. Some of them make sense for the stream, some of them don't. Some of them maybe I'll try offline and maybe do YouTube videos about. Because, truthfully, the variety streams don't have the numbers that Phobies does, which makes sense, because I'm mostly a Phobies streamer, but I want to try and grow the Phobies audience, and in order to do that, we probably have to reach out to people that don't play Phobies, because if you're already playing, you're already playing. That's why I was looking at Marvel Snap. I don't think it's going to be that. Maybe I have to just suck it up, play Marvel Snap offline, and then load up, hey, this is the crazy play of the week, like, of the day, because people do tons of daily Marvel Snap updates, but anyway, I think we're going to close up a little early tonight, chat. I'm a little tired. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be starting out with Phobies. We will possibly be doing some variety. We'll play it by ear. Of course, Monday will definitely be variety. And Sunday right now is intended to be game review night, but if you want your game reviewed, this would be a good week for it. But that's going to do it for now. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.